Hello, and welcome to my channel. I am Damien Marie AtHope. In the simplest terms, I am an atheist-humanist philosopher and prehistorical writer-researcher at DamienMarieAtHope.com. I am specifically an axiological atheist. An axiological atheism can be thought to involve ethical and value theory reasoned and moral argument driven apatheism, agnosticism, atheism, antitheism, antireligionism, secularism, and humanism. Axiological atheists can be understood as a value theory or a value science atheist. As an axiological atheism's ethically reasoned and constructive pro-humanity. I am an axiological thinker, value theorist. The science of goodness, worthiness, usefulness, valuableness, virtue, reliableness, accuracy, validity, morality, integrity, beneficialness, etc., etc. We axiologists have a value consciousness. And in general, we see the architecture of humanistic humanitarianism value in people that we see as dignity beings. Places and things are not. Axiology is a value theory. In its broadest sense, it involves areas of philosophy that are deemed to encompass some evaluative or evaluation aspect. Therefore, it crosses almost all domains in some way or another. Now for a more detailed terms as to what I am. I am an axiological atheist, an anti-theist, an anti-religionist, secularist, humanist, rationalist, writer, artist, poet, philosopher, advocate, activist with schooling in psychology, sociology, as well as I am an autodidact, self-taught in science, archaeology, anthropology, and philosophy. I promote science and am against pseudoscience, pseudohistory, pseudomorality, things that are found in religion. I support realism, axiology, of course, liberty, justice, ethics. I am also an anarchist socialist. I support anarchism and socialism, progressivism, liberalism, philosophy, psychology, archaeology, and anthropology, advocating for sexual, gender, child, secular, LGBTQIA+, race, class rights, and equality. So if you can guess from all that, I support or challenge that I have an eclectic variety of videos on a variety of topics. Please take time to check them out, as well as if you enjoy them, please give them a like. And don't forget to subscribe, as new things are on their way all the time for my channel.
Hello.
Hey, now we got sound.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but
I didn't turn the sound up for me though. There we go. Let's hear some sound.
there you go.
All right. So today, everyone, we are going to talk about some heavy shit, right? To me, we're talking about dignity. And I know this is something that I talk about, and a lot of people just hear blah, blah, blah. They don't understand. Well, I get the way I talk, even for leftists, I don't really talk Marx or even talk anarchism in the way that a lot of people understand it, because they read historical stuff and then try to interpret that. Where with me, I'm just a genius, whatever, on my own, and have studied the whole history of the humanity, of the world. And so before, I already had opinions about capitalism because of my life, which we're going to talk about.
Right.
But then after that, the wealth of knowledge I know about human history is beyond what most people even understand.
Right.
And everyone should watch all the videos that we've already done then you would have a grasp of, and that's nothing. I know more than that, a lot more. But so my point is, though, if you don't understand that, you won't grasp some of the things I talk about, because you're looking at it from it's like a capitalist or a Democrat. I'm not a Democrat, so people know. I'm not anti, voting, as I've told you before. I just feel that when you look at the reality of the situation, who we vote for is basically the same thing. It's like two sides of capitalism. That's just, one is a little bit more kind to people that are different, and other one is absolutely trying to be, Nazis and KKK and fucking racist and bigoted against every fucking person there is, except not white, rich Christian men or some bullshit. But so that's why, to me, it's not the same.
Right.
But
there's
it's not
fascists
good.
And not fascists. But...
Not even that. I would say it's fascist, total fascist, and then half fascist.
Right.
I'm not going to call the Democrats, I'm sorry to offend you, but I'm not going to call you the great people that you think you are.
Right. Yeah.
So, but right. I don't want to go into all that, because I want to get into dignity, which still is about dignity. So today, it's very possible in this time that we talk, when I talk about my life, I might cry. Do not stop me. Let's just keep moving. I don't want to focus on that, but I'm just saying, because of what we're talking about, and I have PTSD, and I had extreme child abuse. When I talk about stuff, I'm going to be honest, and we're just going to work through it. But anyways, my point is, though, this is important. I told you before, I don't like talking about my life, because it makes me cry, or makes me feel bad, and I don't like feeling either.
Right.
But this is so important. People, I keep saying dignity is important, and they're not grasping the why, the depth, the anything. Or even the other thing, too, people don't get is who has this dignity.
Right.
This is very important, because if you don't realize it, your morality is built on this premise. When you say, I have human rights, my question is, sorry, before I go to that, I say a statement sometimes where, like, that I am a servant leader. Let me explain real quick just what that means. I hate servitude. So what I mean is, I do not desire to become famous. Mm-hmm. I am not out here doing stuff to get followers. I am out here because I fucking care. And I believe I have this ability to help people be better people. So my goal is not about me. It's how much success, in a sense, not the capitalist bullshit, but I mean, as a human, your humanity success. How's that? My goal is everyone's humanity success, where you're just blooming inside with kindness, blooming inside with compassion, blooming with understanding, not anger, not hate. These are reactionary. These are not values. So a lot of people, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with not getting angry or talking about your anger, but the anger is not the value.
Right. It's the emotion.
It is a reaction to the violation or the threat to the value.
Yeah.
But then again, what is the value you're being offended by, you feel is in threat? It is the dignity of people. And just like when they say, well, animals, we shouldn't just hurt animals. We should care about, and see, when it goes back to my statement of when I told you I'm a servant leader, right? We have that. So that's kind of what that means. It means that it is a person who is being a leader, not for themselves, but for the good of all. And thus that means that I have to make my thing not about fame, not about money, not about people liking me, but about speaking the truth and making a positive impact. So that's what to me a servant leader is. And I believe that means that you teach teachers. But it doesn't mean that I feel arrogant. This is what I'm saying about the servant part. I'm not arrogant. I'm not special. I'm not better. I just know something and I care. And I'm just reminding people, hey, caring is what matters. Not your anger, not your rage, not your political thing. Because your political thing supposedly is a encapsulation of how you feel protects dignity.
Right.
And if it is not, what the fuck is it? I guess fascism, because their job is to not care about dignity. Or the
Right.
capitalist does not care about dignity. That's why when someone says, am I a capitalist? I care about dignity. You should know I'm not a capitalist. How the hell can that possibly be? To me, the same as well, I'm saying someone that goes out and rapes and murders people. Do I have to question, is that a good person? How long do you think I spend thinking about that? Zero.
Right.
I already tell you, they're not a good person by definition, because they are wantonly disrespecting the dignity of others. So I believe that we should be teaching teachers. And that doesn't mean, this is what reminds me of something too that I've heard. There's a difference between calling people out and calling people in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Dignity calls people in.
Yeah.
I do this all the time. If you've seen me, I say harsh things to people, but I do it in a way that doesn't feel attacking totally. It's like I'm trying to care. And then as soon as they get it, I pull back and I'm totally there for them. That's what I mean by being a servant leader.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about, I finally got him. See how great I am.
Right. It's not actually about like owning somebody. It's
No.
about,
In fact, well, and I did have that one video I wrote owned, but that was my dignity attack against him for thinking that he could talk down to me.
Right.
And I left it up there, and I said I'll leave it up there forever as a dignity attack until he comes and has an honest conversation with me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, for
that's
sure.
up to him. He'll stay there forever. Doesn't matter to me. It's his dignity. But he did act different. Of course, he also blocked me on LinkedIn, but hey, he did that before I wrote owned. And then I thought, oh, okay, good. I guess it's time to remind him. But anyways, so dignity is this thing that we have inside. But like I said, who owns dignity? This goes back to, like I said, about teaching teachers, and I believe in leading leaders. And it's both the same thing, not because they're better, but because we see a fellow and then we give them a helping hand. It's different. And I know it's anarchism. I'm sure you're like, yeah, this is anarchism. Yeah, I know, but but it's the values of anarchism. This is also real important to me, because a lot of people say they're anarchists and they say shit. And I'm like, you have no value of dignity. You have no value of values. What is your anarchism built on? Like that you can just fuck shit up? I mean, have guns and kill people? I mean, what the fuck? And I'm sorry, that's not anarchism to me. Just as much as I told you, I will never accept that the word capitalism could be added to anarchism and be a legitimate anything.
Yeah,
to me,
that's right.
Fucking can't. And I also, sorry to say to some people, I don't personally believe you can say that you are a nihilist and an anarchist, because a nihilist is the lack of value, and anarchism is the understanding of human value, the respecting of human value, the desire to have human value flourish to its fullest extent for every single person. How in the fuck are you doing that under nihilism?
Yeah, that's a weird one to me. I've seen a lot of people like that I followed that I've agreed with a lot of the things they say.
I blocked all those fuckers, but go ahead.
And then they'll.
I'm sorry, I don't gotta call them fuckers. Sorry, I blocked all those people because I'm ghetto, so sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, and then they'll say something that's like pro nihilism, and I'm like, well, what are you talking about? Like that doesn't make any sense to me. And then, like, okay, this thing that you're calling nihilism, that's not right, because that's a value-based judgment.
Oh, you ever watch that one video where I just ripped into that nihilist Christian? I don't, and I'm probably, but here's another thing too. Sorry, nihilist, I'm not going to debate you. You know why? Because I'm done with that. I'm now just teaching. Yeah. But anyways, there was a video when I was doing it, and I got that Christian nihilist so bad in the middle of the thing. He goes, "Wow, no one's ever got me this good. I think I might even stop being a nihilist." And then afterwards, he's like, "I've totally stopped that. You just totally." But you know why? This goes back to what I'm saying about dignity or whatever. They're not grasping why anarchism. What is anarchism doing? Oh, is it just removing government? I hate when people say it. It's removing government. Really? It's removing hierarchy, because it better be a hierarchy in your, like me personally. Like I told you before, I live anarchism. I don't have hierarchy. I don't have hierarchy in my marriage. I don't have hierarchy in my friends. I don't have a hierarchy when I do these videos. I don't try to. I try to. I mean, because guess what? I think hierarchy is toxic bullshit.
Yep.
So you're not going to get Damien, who's a value theorist, to look at something that's valueless and go, I want to value that. No.
Yeah.
And this, but I said, this goes back to like anarchism or socialism or anything. I hate when people tell me all these labels and names and then can't even explain the values they stand for.
Right.
The fuck, dude? You don't say. There's nothing wrong with not being super intelligent. There's nothing wrong with picking intelligent people. There's nothing wrong with not fully grasping how to philosophically explain or under. I'm not saying that. But if you're saying, I like socialism because it's neat and cool, or I like anarchism because I can have a gun and smoke pot and tell the government to go fuck off, that's not what I consider anarchism.
Well, but even those things come from a value system, right?
They do, totally.
That's the blindness that people have, is they have these, they think that they've come up with this scientific reason to be a socialist. But I'm sorry, it's still based on values. It's still...
this just so people understand, there's actually a book called Answering the Central Question, I think it's called. It's a value scientist who's also a neuroscientist or whatever, and he said that the brain actually processes ideas in sets of value.
Yeah.
But I could have gone, dude, animals do it, so
it seems obvious in some ways that that's how people process things.
Well, this is why when people think that me using the word axiology or saying that I'm an axiological philosopher, that it's no big deal, not realizing I'm probably one of the most important thinkers because of this. That this is like the foundation of everything. That's why nobody can withstand when I go after them with values, because they don't think in values, and I'll expose it immediately. Because just like I said, so servant leader, which I told you, and a servant leader teaches teachers and leads leaders. But the goal is to create, not this great Damien on top of the fucking mountain, or any bullshit, or anyone's on top of the mountain.
Right.
The goal is to create more servant leaders that go out and teach teachers and lead leaders. And I said to you, I realized how I start doing this. And how you and anyone can start doing what I'm saying. You become, in a sense, willing inside to let the world teach you. That means and it sounds simple.
No, I think it's harder than it sounds.
Oh, it's very hard, because you have to remove ego, which I talk about all the time. You know why? Ego is a violation of dignity. So ego doesn't want fucking dignity. Fuck, that means you have to care about other people. Ego is all about itself, which to me is an inherent violation to dignity. To me, if you use it during your life. Now, I'm not saying that you should have no ego in the sense of that you should feel bad about yourself. I'm saying you shouldn't have ego to the point where you choose it over your loved ones, over your fucking life, over your job, your career, whatever. You can't even talk to people without your ego fucking being involved. Like, oh my, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh my.
It's that pure individualism, right? Like, the idea that you don't need other people to exist, when in fact we do need other people to exist.
Right. Well, it's two delusions I see. It's all both involve individualism. One is that we're an individual by ourselves. Totally bullshit. The other one is that there's such thing as a group or a family or anything where actually the individual is the only real thing. But that actually doesn't mean individualism is true. Right. And the fact of what the people are trying to say is how we should live our lives. It is just the fact that we can never forget the value of the single dignity being.
Yeah. Yep.
And this goes back to, like I was saying, what is a being worthy of dignity? This is important. See, these are all things like it's considered meta-ethics, which axiology doesn't even use that word, because everything that we do is meta-ethics. We're fucking thinking about every fucking thing, and how do you get to there, and why does it do that, and why, and what, and how, and what way, and how much, and when, and what changes it, and is it longitudinal? Does it keep existing this way? Like, let's say, why is rape bad? Is rape bad simply because of the violation of the body at the moment? Or is rape bad because of the psychological harm that could last a lifetime? Which is worse, the moment or the whole life?
Yes.
But see, here's the problem. No, it's true. But my point is, but an axiologist would go, that's the wrong question, because both of them are violations of the dignity. Yeah. So actually it's a dual violation. So every rape is a dual violation. Every child abuse is a dual violation, not a singular.
Yeah.
It's dual, because not only is it going to hurt the child the moment, like me. I'm like 50 years old now. I'm still affected by this bullshit. So it has never fucking stopped. Yeah. So when you fuck up your kids, you have fucked them up for life. That should be considered worse than it is.
Right. Yeah.
Because it doesn't go away.
Yeah.
And so the violation to the dignity of my life being my own, or my own freedom, or whatever, has been ruined to the point that I can never be okay. How is that not taken as a bigger deal?
Yeah. No, for sure.
But it isn't, because we don't care about dignity, because we don't build our morality on dignity, because we don't even look for values. We just go, well, I think, I feel, what. Yeah, it reminds me of when I went to, why I got into axiology. I went into college and they told me we only had to take one class on ethics. And basically the whole class was how not to get in trouble as a psychologist, which I thought, do you realize this class is unethical? What the holy fuck?
They took the idea of how to behave ethically as a psychologist and turned it into how to not get sued.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's not the only, but that is kind of what the entire class was. And I'm like, I'm thinking you guys, and they also said something that I knew was so wrong when I heard it. They go, I said, it looks like there's like 10 or 12 different kinds of morality we got to study in this book. Which one is would you consider the better one? And they said, go ahead and just choose whatever, feels good to you. And I thought, what the fuck?
just pick one. Yeah.
So, and now I would go, wow, there's a person who shouldn't be teaching or needs to be taught, obviously, before they keep teaching.
Right.
And there's a person who doesn't grasp values or dignity, like I'm saying. This goes back to the same thing. Someone said women should have, human rights, and the Supreme Court right now with the Roe versus Wade thing is attacking women's rights. No, it's not. No. What saved Roe versus Wade was not the government realized the dignity and honor of humans and human rights and forever foreshadow women's rights no matter what. Get the fuck out of here. You know what it's about? Right to privacy.
Yeah.
Well, do you realize how fucked that is? Because that's the government's opinion about what they want to do or not do. Because the word right to privacy, in a sense, is that a human right? I don't know. I mean, I know it is. I know it's about dignity.
Yeah, exactly.
But so what's a dignity being? This is important. Who? So I try to make it real simple. Any sentient and life that can feel pain and then remember it emotionally is a dignity being. That's for me. Just being alive is not enough. The fact that you can both feel pain and then remember pain or experience of life, which pretty much everything does. I'm just throwing out little caveats so people can grasp. That means bugs, people.
Yeah.
So this is what I had an argument with the vegan when she said she doesn't do vegan because she doesn't kill things. And I said, well, how does that work for milk and for honey? Because you're not killing anything at either of those.
Right.
And then there's something else. But see, that's again, when you build your ethics off some weird things where you got to have all these other things, unless you really understand them, you're kind of making fallacies. You're just throwing up everything you can think of. So because as soon as I said, well, so we can't kill life. Let's go back to that belief. So then it would obviously be ethical to eliminate all predator species, correct? Or am I wrong? Because I'm serious. If dignity is so important, we cannot withstand death. Then I think that you must be, because they don't grasp dignity. Then the moral obligation is we need to do all we can to stop this shit.
The prevention of,
which means the only way to truly prevent mass death from predators is remove predators, make them all sterile. So they all, no more extinct, no more predators. And they go, that'd be insane. I go, see, I'm not thinking you understand dignity. Right. The other thing is that I said, so how do you feel about if your home is infested with termites? Would you let the home go move somewhere else, let the termites just do their thing? Would you slowly evacuate them so they don't get harmed? She goes, well, I only care about things with faces. And by the way, I'm not claiming all vegans have this opinion. That's what was told to me.
Okay.
Which I was like, that's the biggest fallacy bullshit I ever heard. Like faces. Okay, do you realize you took a magnifying glass? The bugs have faces. So that's
yeah, that's right.
You don't even like, oh my, you got to be kidding me. But so the other thing is, once we realize this, then we have to act different, to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing people don't like. Because when you really grasp dignity, you got to change your fucking behavior.
Right.
And people are like, yeah, but I don't want to, or they say, oh, that's not as important. I'm like, wrong. If we change this, we'll change everything. And because we don't change this, little will change.
Yeah.
If you don't start thinking in dignity, seeing dignity, valuing it, dude, you're lost. Your morality is like on a fucking tidal wave going up and down and whatever hits your fancy.
Because it's based on whims and feelings, right? It's not based on something concrete.
It's not. But like I said, so my morality, people often at first say is not there. When I explain it deeply, they're like, that's too fucking hard. Yeah, morality sucks for you. It is fucking. Newsflash, really being an ethical person is one of the hardest things. That's like people always are like, I would die for my wife. And they think that is some example. I'll die for my country, or I'll die for what I believe. They think that the death, the violence in the capitalist world, to me especially, they think that has value. Wrong. Let me see motherfuckers live for people. Let me see you do that. That will impress me. How about live for your spouse? Don't say you'll die for them. Let me see you change your behavior so that you're the best spouse for your spouse. Yeah. Then I will go, hey, maybe you understand. Because see, I do that. I treat my spouse, my wife, so well that when I'm in public, a lot of people think that we're not even married. We must be just friends. But I'm like,
and that's pretty fucked up, actually, right? Like,
well, it is fucked up. It just shows that nobody thinks you can be a friend and be a spouse. I mean, so that's, which is fucked up. And I'm not saying you have to be married to have that kind of love either. It has nothing to do with marriage. Marriage is a bullshit contract with the government. But anyways, what I'm saying though is that it's because I grasp the value. Just like, my wife would tell you this is a fact. I have never even called her a bad name in the 16 years that we have been married. Yeah, not one time. But you know why? For me personally, never have I forgot that how I behave represents my care for dignity. And to me, it is fucking shameful when I act in a way that violates the dignity of others. It's fucking shameful. And I've done shameful things in my life. Believe me, I am not the greatest fucking person. I fucking stabbed people. I fucking shot at people. I fucking kidnapped someone. I've done some fucked up shit in my life. I was a drug dealer guy. Not that that makes it good. And we did let him go. Didn't actually kill him or hurt him like I was planning on hurting him. Because I wasn't a good person. But I mean, but it's also before I thought the world didn't give a fuck about me. And so my answer was nihilism. I don't give a fuck about them. Who gives a fuck? They don't give a fuck you then.
Yeah.
But you know what? All I did was actually be them. And what more sick thing can I do than be the exact thing I fucking hate? It hurts me inside even to think back down. But I mean, people understand I come from extreme child abuse. I had my tailbone broken being hit by a 2x4 from my father. And, I've been starved to the point that my, even at school, right? He would give me a half a banana or less. That's it. Go to school, and he got a clove of garlic because he made me do that too. Until the school said I cannot come to school if I keep eating raw garlic. Jeez, it was burning in my mouth, my stomach. He didn't give a fuck. He didn't care about dignity. But so my point is, I had to endure this to the point that I was at school, and I even having some value for dignity. I didn't want to steal one kid's whole lunch because I didn't have a lunch. So I wasn't going to, but what I thought is I can take a little bit, like an apple or chips, half a sandwich, whatever. But what happened was because I did it to multiple kids, it looks like I'm bullying every kid in the damn school. So the school immediately finds out about it, and I sound like the worst monster in the world when really I just needed to fucking eat.
Yeah.
And so then they talking about lack of dignity. They told, my father, hey, we have programs for people that are poor. And he says, I'm not poor. Yeah, because he was starving me out of just choice.
Right.
Like a fucking dick. Or like a child molester. Or another kind of bad person that doesn't violate, anything good, right? Yeah, that's all they do. They're just violators.
Abuser and yeah,
they don't care about dignity. That's why I would say we need to protect children. What are you protecting? Their dignity. And their dignity not just now, but in the future.
Yeah.
Because like axiology understands real quick for people. Axiology, and this is also my interpretation because people do all kinds of mathematics to do axiology, which I don't do because I don't like math. But so for me, everything's reason. So for me, right, so you have this morality structure that everybody knows. Like I've told you before, who doesn't know it's a good thing to feed a child? Seriously?
Right. This is an obvious good.
So but really, but what it means is that humans obviously can grasp dignity without being told. Children figured this shit out at frickin', I think it's like 2 months or something, or maybe it's 3 months, where they've done studies and children start to realize empathy and dignity and all this stuff. In fact, they start also not liking, like if you pick on a bear, they won't like that person, or if they pick on a toy or something. But anyway, sometimes it can be the opposite too, or they pick the bully because they want to be safe. That same thing, because they're worried about their dignity being violated. And so a lot of people in the world do this too. As long as it's not happening to me.
Right.
I think that might be even the Republican bumper sticker, as long as it ain't happening to me. Fuck you.
That's right. Anyways. Good things can't happen to other people because I had to suffer in the past. Yeah. Stuff like that.
Yeah. So, but that's actually, no matter who you are and what your life was. My life was pretty bad. I've had people that have had worse lives. But like I told you before, when you asked, what do you do with privileges? How do you get over privileges? I don't think you should try to get over privileges. What you should do is use your life in a benefit to others. So it doesn't matter, like, you get what I'm saying? It's not the value should not be how much money I have.
Right.
It should be how much effort I put to make good effort with what I have. And so, I don't have a lot, by the way. So people, I'm not claiming I'm not rich in any fucking way. I was a truck driver and I've only done that kind of work. And I got fired a lot because I'm a sociopath. And so I fucking say what I feel all the time to my detriment.
Right.
So I've had probably 20 fucking jobs in trucking, in an 11-year time. But I've gotten better.
But
so the question, though, it goes back to people have asked me before. How did I go from this not caring sociopath, which I'm still a sociopath, and I still have a problem caring? How is it that I learned to care about people? And I go, I never learned. Neither did you. You already knew.
Yeah.
I had to get in touch with the simplicity that actually we already know. And it's not really that complicated. All the things it's like a spider web. Like I said, dignity is like this, the center of the web, and everything else is coming off of it. This is also why I can walk on that web and push the dignity and affect you. And that's why I do dignity attacks and dignity enrichments and why they work. And they will always fucking work. In fact, I can tell you and still do them. That is how fucked up it is. Because you're still sensitive. You're always going to be sensitive.
Yeah. Because this is at the core of what a person is.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Once you grasp that, though, you have to care because holy fuck. Everything we say affects people.
Yeah.
Everything we do affects people. When you grab it on that level, ethically, how in the fuck can you do anything less than be a fucking humanitarian? I just don't know. And so I don't, that's why I talk about vegans a lot. Hey, you know what? If you're doing it for ethical reasons that you believe, I totally respect that. I'm not anti-vegan. I just don't like people trying to tell me what the fuck to do and then use bad morality and bad logic and bad value structures to try to tell me I'm wrong.
Right, right.
So I also don't like how some people, like I said, that one vegan feels that she can care about everything that's, what she feels about, and then anything that's an ugly animal or whatever, fuck them, or a bug or whatever.
Right. If they have a face, then they're good.
Well, my point would be is that understanding dignity. Why would they need a face for me to care?
Well, yeah, exactly.
See, so I'm saying there's just a complete lack of understanding dignity. So it goes back to dignity with like bugs. So if I cannot kill a bug, that I effort to do that as much as I make effort not to harm others. It's like I told you before. I have ability to go harm a lot of people emotionally. I could fuck up a whole bunch of people, and I feel that's unethical. So I don't do it. I don't even have to. Like I said before, as a sociopath, I would like, who fucking cares? But now, because I see the world like the Matrix, I see dignity everywhere. I'm like, oh my God, I can't. I feel like I'm a bull in a china shop, and I'm afraid I'm gonna break everything, because I understand. All these things have dignity. Holy fuck, I need to care about them all. And people go, that's overwhelming. Yeah, welcome to real morality. It is overwhelming.
Yeah,
it's not fake. It's not easy. It's not, But I try to make it easy, because if you really make it easy, and go back to the fact that we already all know this. It's about dignity. We just don't know the word, or the word doesn't matter. But it's the point that I'm trying to say. Right. It is this internal sense of self that once violated, it's like people go, oh, I'm strong, brother. I go, but you're not. I guarantee it. I guarantee, right? Took you right now and put you in a box for, let's just say, 4 years, and you can't move. Well, we make sure you're fed. You go to the bathroom, whatever, but you really can't move. Just that, and no human contact, you might go insane.
Oh yeah, you would.
Or certainly become like seriously unhealthy mentally. Yep. Now, let's say I do that, and then after you get out, I have all these people gang rape you. And then wait like a month, and then gang rape you again. Wait next month, gang rape you again. Wait next day, gang rape you again. Then I think you live in poverty under capitalism. Can you imagine that person being okay? Fuck no.
Of course not. Yeah.
But so I'm saying is, so we already but I don't need the long thing of this. No, everyone gets that things hurt you. What a shock. But what is it hurting? Yeah. Well, it hurts your mind. And what is your mind? So aren't you sometimes mad and then you're over it? How come you can't just get over the dignity attack? Why is it the dignity seems to not get over? Why does it last your fucking lifetime? Because guess what? You are that sensitive dignity being. I don't care how strong you feel or whatever. Like I said, the strongest person, do all that shit to them, they will not be strong ever again.
Yeah,
they will not be the same person, even if they could somehow survive mentally. I 100% did not believe anyone can go through that and not be somehow disrupted mentally.
Well, at the very least, they'd become a
sociopath.
Yeah, a toxic person, right?
Yeah, like totally toxic. Because there's another thing too. Psychopaths are kind of born that way. Sociopaths are born with the sensitivity to it, and then abuse makes it happen generally, or it seems to be an exacerbating factor in what we were called. Like maybe they already have a gun, but now you abuse them, you put bullets in.
Right.
You loaded that gun now. So, but it's easy. Like a lot of people talk about abuse. I had a lot of physical abuse. Like I said, I have my tailbone still broken today. I can't do sit-ups. I can't sit down for a long time sometimes, which really hurt me for truck driving. And it's a moment that he did when I was like, I don't know, 11, 12. I don't remember exactly, and it's been my whole life.
Yeah.
Broken fucking spine because I was beaten with a 2x4. But I go, what's the really fucked up thing? People always talk about that physical abuse is the worst. And I go, physical abuse is fucking terrible. I'm not saying it's good at all. It's fucking horrid. But the thing that broke me was not the physical abuse. It was the understanding I was not loved at all.
Right.
That broke me. See, because why? That's a dignity attack. The other one's an attack to the body, which is a dignity attack because they're violating your right to not be harmed. But it is another thing when inside you feel worthless. It is a complete like immersion of violation of your dignity. You're just and kind of like rape does that kind of stuff too, because you feel like your body autonomy in a sense is violated.
Right.
But you could rape someone in a sense and do it worse by also attacking who they are. Because it's, once again, it's not that it's better, it's more dignity, more violation in a sense. Just like I said, if you did it one time, it's bad. Multiple times, it becomes compounded.
Yeah.
The dignity violation doesn't somehow like neutral.
Right.
Just higher, violation I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So another thing too is that I'm not going to say everything I know how to do. I had that mistake before. I told you this before. I told someone some shit that's a philosopher, and his first response is, "Wow, you could use that to manipulate women." And I felt like he like punched me in the chest when he said that. I mean, it was like rage, pissed off. I'm like, man, don't you dare use the stuff that I taught you to hurt people. I was telling you this to help people. Like, you sick. Ugh. But that reminds me too that I have to be responsible with dignity and know that a lot of people like to hurt people. So I'm not going to help people go fucking hurt people.
Right.
But I do. The problem though is too is that I need to tell you about this stuff so that people can stop hurting you, and you can get your own internal power and have a better way of making. So there's a dilemma for me of how much I should show and teach, because there is consequences for knowledge.
Right.
And some people with knowledge of science go build nuclear bombs. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, and I don't want to do that. But like I said, I do want to make people strong. So that's why I just teach the two things, real simple. I get to go into all kinds of stuff, but I only teach digging attacks and digging enrichments, which is probably still too much really to teach bad people, but I got to teach the good people too. So, but let's go back to the abuse about dignity. So my worst thing was actually when it was raining, I was hiding under the tarp for my dad's wood. I don't know if I told you this before, but his lumber in the backyard. He got in trouble because he didn't have insurance, and he's kind of a con, and didn't have insurance. He had big business, and someone cut their finger off as an employee. He had no insurance for him, didn't want to pay for it. He goes, "Oh, just sew it back on." Anyways, so he ended up losing his business because government came in and like, wrong.
You can't run this way.
And so, there's laws. So even though I don't think the government cares that much about people, they care a little bit because people have made them care, not because government one day, you know what, people really should have human rights. Fuck no, that's not how. Every right that is in America, they're so proud of saying we have rights. People have had to die to get. Yeah. And even then, look at people suffered and stuff for Roe versus Wade, and like the shit's going to be knocked off and click as fuck anyway. So government hands out and takes back rights at will because it's nothing to do with rights. That's what I was saying at the beginning. Everyone's like, women's rights. Like, yeah, it's worse. It's actually right to privacy.
Yeah, that's right. There's no enshrined right to abortion, even though there should be.
And then my argument always is, well, then they should do it now. And if they don't, impeach the fuckers. Right?
Yeah. That's
How can anybody, even if you say you love Biden and whatever, riding with Biden?
Sure.
I ask you this: are you going to hold them accountable for human rights? If you say it's human rights, I know it's actually just right to privacy, but that's for the law I'm talking about. Not the actual dignity would be actually human rights. Yeah. So that's why I was going to go back to. You already know dignity. You already know it's important. In fact, you've been talking about all the fucking time: human rights, child rights, women's rights, trans rights, whatever, intersex rights. For me, I'm intersex. It's just, those are just all like the webs off of the main spider, center, which is the, spider web of the dignity.
Right.
And so once you grasp it too, then doesn't everybody, you don't have to, that's what I'm saying. You don't have to try to keep giving individual to every single new whatever. They all get dignity. No, isn't that great?
Yeah, that works.
That's anarchism. Guess what?
That's all of them.
Yeah, which one should I give it to? All. How's that?
Yeah, all people.
Well, which gets more? The same. Neat, right?
Which gets more? Yeah.
No, but I know, but that sounds funny. But I'm saying is, in a sense, axiologically, you do need to think about this.
Yeah.
How about this? People that don't, just trust me. How about I already know? So just read the stuff and whatever. But and if you don't know, trust someone. How about this? I would rather err on the side of following someone who seems goodness is their way of being than ones that are not.
Yeah.
Because even if I don't know, I can certainly say that this seems to be better. That's like I tell people about when they say solipsism says we don't know if the world's real. And I go, and axiology helps us understand that we need to care anyways.
Right.
So, they always laugh because I feel like they bring up these things that they think are such hard and I just go, ding, it's not hard.
It reminds me of like for a while there, it was really popular for people to talk about living in the Matrix, how we're living in a Matrix from the future or what have you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, but we still have to live our lives as though they're real. Like,
which is an axiological statement.
Like we still have to exist here and now.
Well, no, because the axiology is almost like what they tried to do about the God, that Pascal's wager. Axiology would go, if you don't know, is it possible humans are being harmed, or their harm is occurring if we act as if it is not real? Yes, there is possibility. Okay, so if I act like it's real and care and all this stuff and it's not real, has anyone been harmed? And they go, well, no. Well, then there's the answer.
Yeah.
You pick the side of value. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Once you start grasping value, it may seem hard, but it's also kind of easy. That it's about value judging. But here's a guess: looking at the value. And you're like, I don't know what you mean by value. Okay, let me explain how value changes things. If I said, Cory, I have this car for $500. You can borrow it for 2 weeks. You'd be like, all right, whatever. Is it going to break down? Because you're like, it's a pretty cheap car.
Right.
You're not actually too trusting of the car. But if I tell you, actually, it's a $500,000 car, you can use it for 2 weeks. You're going to go, that's all right. I don't want to take the responsibility of that.
That's too much.
But do you get so value how it can change? One is you would question the value of that car itself. Mm-hmm. And the other one, you would say, I don't even want to be involved in that car because that's more value than I can deal with.
Yeah.
But or be responsible for. So I'm just saying is people don't realize, oh my God, there's judgments all the time you're making. And there's no way not to, including those people that are nihilists. You've chosen that nihilism is valuable for some reason. So it automatically is a violation of what you just fucking said. Here's even worse. No nihilist should support nihilism or crush nihilism or say anyone that should listen to it, because that would be that you've seen its value, which is a violation of nihilism. But anyway, I don't even want to go into that. But I'm just saying, dude, nihilists cannot stand a second with actual value, because every nonsense thing that's coming out of your mouth is a fucking fallacy. Fallacy. Yeah, because guess what? That's why it goes back to what seems like why one of the things that I read in what it says the term of communism that I agree with most of the stuff. But the thing about no money, to me, it's like saying there will be no longer value. That, to me, because money is not a thing. In other words, there was money value before there was money.
Yeah.
And I've told you this, and the people don't grasp why I say that arcane capitalism happened before money.
Right.
It happened because they started accumulating other people's property. So private property is part of capitalism to me. Because all of a sudden you had this belief, this sickness, I can own the fucking earth. Right. Just this plot is mine, and I can kill or whatever, anything I want in it, and rule the people how I want. I mean, the whole it. And then the value was the wealth, like gold and things, or people. How about this? Before there was any wealth or gold, guess what they used to value is other human beings, like slavery or whatever.
Right.
Which is also bad. But I'm just saying is that it's value. So I say I don't see how we can get. My thing is that we need to do ethical. Don't worry about not being there. It needs to be. So if I said that I have a universal transfer of wealth, take away wealth, universal transfer of value, does it sound better? It's the same fucking thing. So or if I say I give you 2 chickens for the value of a Cory experience or whatever. Right. But I'm just making a comment. All I've done is just create a value. The fact that you're saying it's not money, it's a fallacy.
It's still trade, right? It's still.
And it's trading value. Money is the concept of a universal transfer of value.
Right. Yeah. Money is representative. It's not a thing in and of itself.
And to think that you're not going to use something to move amounts around of value is just ridiculous. I say, instead of thinking about abolishing money, abolish the abuse of money for private ends. That is the fucking problem. If human wealth was used for the betterment of humans, I would be all for it. But it is absolutely not.
Yeah, like nobody should be objecting to like a government like putting in programs that help people, right? Like spending money in that way. But
like I said, yeah, and I have no problem if you're going to give stuff to help people. I'm all for helping people. We need to help people now as much as possible. In fact, like I told you, I'm going to say it again because it matters a lot to me. Every child across the whole earth should be fucking taken care of, period. No excuses. No, they're from that country or they don't have money or they can't pay it back or their parents are drug addicts or their parents are murder psychopaths, whatever. I could give a living fuck. The kids should never fucking starve, period. And to me, period, it's not the kid's fault who the fuck their parents are, period. And to me, until that happens or until that is what people want to do, I find society to be dog shit. How dare it act like it is good if it doesn't take care of the most fucking vulnerable? Once again, about dignity. See, when you understand dignity, then you're like, of course that makes sense. Well, because I'm talking dignity, right? I'm talking dignity. Yep. Of course, the weakest, right, the one with the most chance to have their dignity violated should be protected. This should not be a shocker to people.
Yeah.
Seriously. So it is really important, like I said, to grasp dignity because you understand that dignity is not a finite thing. It moves around in your life. People can hurt it.
Yep.
Sometimes to the point that it never gets okay. And this is, to me, something that, like I said, we're going to get into. So now I want you to read that stuff. I just wanted to get people like on the same page as Damien, because I know I talk in a way, like I said, especially because I don't read anarchist or socialist stuff. So I talk in a way that people don't. And also don't even read psychology books, really. So my shit's like out of my own head.
Try and get this nice and big so I can read it easily.
So anyways, while Cory's looking for that, I'll just tell people, Cory's going to read stuff. I'm going to be quiet or try to. Let's be honest.
Fair.
You know, that's what I'm saying about dignity is also knowing that, you know what? It's dignity. It's healthy to know you're a failure. It is. This capitalism makes you believe you can never be a failure. How fucking sick is that?
Yeah.
There's not a goddamn person that's been a success that didn't fail.
It's really messed up, actually.
No, I'm just saying, but even worse than that is when anarchists or socialists value that shit. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I don't hold that value. I'm like, when people try to put on me, I just go, whatever.
You can call me a failure by your standards all you want. It does not mean anything to me.
Or like, Damien, you're 50 years old. You're just now trying to get a house. You've never had a stable job. You've never, supported things. You chose not to have kids. What a fucking failure. I'm like, yeah, no, I spend all my time helping others. What a fucking bad thing.
Well, we do it a lot, like on social media too. Like people judge each other based on the number of followers or the number of subscribers they have. Like, that's not your value. Who follows you is not your value.
No, because this is what they understand too. Ad populum is a fallacy.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
So that's why I've told people before, I value Cory a lot. Because guess why? Not because he's my friend, but because I'm an axiologist and I see people's value. I value him for that reason. That's what made me want to be his friend. Not the other way around. No, I'm saying, well, people don't know. I mean, know, but people don't know. Yep. I didn't become friends with Cory and then later want to support him. I saw Cory on Instagram in a picture with his kid, and I went, now that's a person I need to be talking to. That is a man of value. Rare. People don't understand. Moral courage is rare. physical courage. Hell, even the right Republicans seem to be able to manage that shit.
Right.
So I don't know why any of us are fucking giving a shit about it. Who fucking cares? You know, their heroes have to have a gun. My heroes have to have a heart.
Yeah.
So anyway, so Cory is my hero. I love anybody who treats children with respect, treats them with love and dignity. That's a champion to me.
We might talk about it another day, but I'm really interested in this new. It's not new, I guess, but the anarchist type of parenting where you actually like really try to eliminate the hierarchies you have even over your own children.
I'm totally for that.
It's really good stuff.
Talk about it because I understand a lot about it. But my own, once again, I've not read anything just for me and also my life and being abused as fuck. I have a pretty good idea what it's like to treat a kid correctly. And in fact, some people think also they think, oh well, that's easy for you to say. You don't have kids, and then but you don't ever ask, have I ever helped kids? Because I have.
Yeah.
I have gone to elementary schools and junior high schools and high schools and talked against drugs, violence, gangs, and also not loving yourself. I had kids crying and coming and hugging me. And then I also, that's not it. Oh, wait, I'm not done. I've also gone to Mexico and given to kids at an orphanage, spent the whole day and did nice things for them, brought them money and food, pizza day, and treated them like humans. The saddest thing for me was having to leave.
Yeah.
Broke my fucking heart. This one kid wanted to fucking come with me.
Yeah.
I understand what it's like to be a child and feel fucking hopeless, and the world just doesn't fucking care. And even more so why I say, I realize now I need to care. No excuses. I need to see the value and dignity of others. No excuses. And that's why I tell people I try to be unbiased. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I try to be. It's a goal. I don't see other people even having that as a goal. I want to be unbiased. I want to be unbigoted. I want to treat everyone with dignity as much as possible. Because I get it fucking matters.
Yeah.
Anyway, so and then worse than that is to be told by people in the atheist community when I told them I went down there and did that, and they told me, yeah, how come you can't help kids in America? And I go, I have, and how the fuck does it bother you that I go help kids in their country?
Yeah.
And I go, I don't know, newsflash. When I was in California, they were only like 30 miles from where I lived to the Mexican border.
Right.
Where you want me to care about New York and 9/11, that's 2,500 or 3,000 miles away. How is it that those people are better and more important than the ones 30 miles away? Because you wrote a line on the ground at the border?
Yeah. No.
How about this? How much are they suffering in New York, and how much does some kid need me to be there in fucking Mexico when they're an orphanage and no one's caring for them? They barely even have food and clothing and toys, anything. You know, and I'm not saying that everyone has to go down there, but fuck, you're trying to put a moral thing that how dare I go down there?
Right.
It you know what I did? I unfriended that person because that's not a kind of that. Obviously, you and me are not on the same page with dignity.
Yeah, that's right.
And
obviously,
I don't need that kind of toxic people in my life. But anyways, let's go to read stuff because I can go on forever. But I want to get to be. I want everyone to understand so they grasp this best they can.
Okay, so today we're discussing the commonly used but not well understood aspect of dignity. Navigating dignity of significance in well-being, motivation, morality, ethics, rights, law, and politics. Dignity is the right of a person to be valued and respected for their own sake and to be treated ethically. It is of significance in morality, ethics, law, and politics as an extension of the Enlightenment era concepts of inherent, inalienable rights. The term may also be used to describe personal conduct, as in behaving with dignity.
And right, so that's what I was trying to say. Behaving in dignity is is living like Damien. I said, someone before said, there's no good person. Because I said, are you a good person? He said, there's no good person. I said, oh, well, great. Then now you've met one. My life is an example. I offer my life as an example of someone trying to be a good person, striving for it as a fucking goal. I started to be a good person. So that's what I was saying. So living dignity, in a sense, to me, would mean operating in the world in a way with others that is helping dignity be, in a sense, protected, furthered, built up structures where dignity is highlighted, is valued.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Just so people understand what that means, living in dignity to me.
Okay, so no one owns the earth, so it must be shared ethically. Everyone owns themselves and is due human rights attached to such self-sovereignty, and that we rise by helping each other, and thus should strive to unite in solidarity and community.
That's
Damien
values right there.
Damien wants to address dignity in this Atheist-Humanist-Leftist video. I'm going to read about it, and Damien's going to comment, and so then I'm going to be learning, and everybody else is going to be learning too.
Yeah. And also, if you have any questions or something even you read or something I've said already you want to address or ask question on, now's time, because I don't want to have all of our videos on dignity. I want to go back to leftist stuff and whatever. But if we don't understand this, then all the shit we're talking about, to me, and you don't really understand what we're basing it on.
Right.
What is like you go to build a house. You don't just those sticks in the dirt and start, right? You build a foundation first. And then how important is the foundation? It is like the most important. The whole house could be destroyed.
That's right.
So dignity is the foundation. Go ahead.
So Damien wants to address dignity, hoping others grasp the power and value of dignity. The vulnerable are always at risk for dignity violations. What will you do? Here you are in the question, ever present, even if never said aloud. Do you see me now, or are you stuck in trying to evaluate others' value and assessing their worth as a fellow being of dignity? So that means that's like what we were talking about before, where people are judging others based on
right. They don't start with this that everybody has dignity. They start with, well, should I have to give this person dignity? Which is a really fucked up thing to do and say.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. You're stuck in the question. You need to start living your life asking yourself, is this in the furtherance of everyone's dignity? My own included?
Right.
Or is this actually in violation of that? And if I have to start thinking who deserves dignity, you've already failed. It's like when some people say, well, a Nazi doesn't deserve dignity. And I go, see, you don't understand morality. The reason we can hold a Nazi accountable is because we do understand dignity.
Yeah.
In the moment this is how we hold people that are child molesters accountable. Why? Because hurt people, rapists accountable because you're hurting people, because the killer's accountable because you're hurting people, because the person's already dead, so it's gone. Why do we care? Because it wasn't right. It isn't. And also, just like the trust, why does trust matter? What is the value of the dignity of trust? Because your dignity is violated because you put trust in my dignity. And then I violated the trust and violated your dignity. And how does it piss people off? Bad. Or violate someone's trust and it's their dignity too. It's not. So trust is the feeling of security. So go back to dignity real quick. Because I know I see things in the dimension I know people don't grasp. The reason you trust is because I made your dignity feel it was going to be safe, protected.
Right.
So your dignity now feels it's not safe, it's not protected. And I've said this before to people. There's two things that humans want. We want comfort and safety. And the problem is, for dignity to do well and flourish, we have to have both in high amounts. Not one or the other, both. And then they go, oh, what are you talking about? So you have a drug dealer, super wealthy, but terrified of dying all the time. So they have comfort, but no fucking safety. I could stick you in a padded room and protect guards outside, but have nobody come in. You'll have safety, but you have no fucking comfort.
Right.
So, and people are like, well, so I'm trying to help you understand like what's going on. All these, that's what I was saying about you need too, Cory, and all people that want to be like a servant leader It's not about learning specific knowledge. It's a willingness to learn. This is so important because people are just not willing. Like I said, they won't read. You know why they won't read my stuff? It's too long. You know, they're going to have to think too much. You know? Shame on Damien for doing that. How dare I struck the levels of trying to help you? Ooh, scary.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing too, is that we're born knowing. We think we are. But born knowing about everything, and we're not. We are born knowing about some stuff. We're like an animal. We do know, like they'll take babies, right? And they'll put them on a piece of plexiglass glass. It looks like they're going to fall off an edge. The babies get freaked. So they already know what falling is. How? Yeah. We're born knowing. That's how. Yeah. Because we're not, in a sense, born completely blank slates like some people believe. That's not right. We're not born with tons of shit either. So anyone that thinks we're born with everything, born knowing everything, that's also another fallacy. So both are fallacies.
Yeah.
So better to realize, I've said, pay attention to the world and see what's really going on and not make these blanket generalizations. But an axiologist always wants details because that's where the truth is. Truth's not going to be in some globalized statement, generally.
Right.
It's going to be found in the details that justify exactly what you're talking about. So anyways, go ahead. I don't want to keep going.
Okay. So yes, I want to see, quote unquote, you, that previous being of dignity worthy of high value and an honored moral weight to any violation of their self-ownership. And this dignity being with self-ownership rights is here before you are seeking connection. A violation of one's dignity, which is the emotional awareness or the emotional detection of the world.
Right.
As a dignity being can be quite harmful. A violation of one's dignity can be quite harmful. Simply, we must see how it can create some physiological disturbance in the dignity being it's done to. Damien once was ignorant, and he decided to change this by education, some from college, but most is just from him. And Damien is a deep thinker. He doesn't feel he can have control of, who doesn't feel one can have control of their minds, not engaging in tough love with oneself.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Right, definitely. So natural instinct is to not care because of the abuse that happened to me. I'm a sociopath. I'm super arrogant. In fact, there's zero. So I just clarify for people. Zero believe that I'm a failure. Zero believe I'm not awesome as a motherfucker. So I have no self-doubt, none. But that's not always a good thing. So people need to get this too. So a lot of times our culture, especially capitalist, values sickness in the mind, not well-being. So it'll look at someone caring and go, oh, that person is touchy-feely. That's a fucking good thing in my book. I don't know why. And they'll say, look at how stoic that person is. They can handle anything. I'm sorry. I don't value psychopaths' ability to manage the world. Nah. And I'm even a sociopath, and I don't value my own ability to go through the world and almost not be harmed anymore emotionally. But that's not healthy. You get this? I'm trying to get you to understand. People that do have effect, those are still emotionally somewhat okay people. The ones that get like me are no longer okay. And you should not try to emulate that part of Damien because it's a fucking sickness and mental illness. The same as a psychopath.
That's not the good thing.
No, there's things about me you should want to be, like the caring, the understanding, the kindness, no matter what. The honor of the dignity, the fact that I work so hard to be a good person. Now that's the shit that matters because that's the shit that I have chosen to do. It's also what goes back to that you do own yourself. Quit forgetting that. Everybody said you didn't have power. You always did. That was a lie.
Okay. I'm trying to find where I was. Sorry. Damien believes we all should have a desire to know and not just assume. Damien is a mutualist thinker, and to him we are all in this life together as fellow dignity beings. Therefore, Damien wants his life to be of a benefit to others in the world. So a good start is in fully grasping the power and value of dignity. Damien often is so good at philosophy that most others are shocked to learn that he has never read a book by any philosopher. Surprise, Damien is a self-created genius, and he is only trying to help others become better.
Right. And that's the other thing, too, is people are also shocked because I'm this good. Why hasn't everyone known me? Why am I just not ripping through everybody? And I go, because you know what matters more to me is being a good person. And that shit is all self-dealing and would not be a benefit to me. And also, here's the thing you understand. You don't want me to value the psychopath or sociopath tendencies that I have. And if I were to glorify myself and put myself on the top, I would be adding to the sickness, not only of the world, but of myself. And so I can't do that. I said it before to someone. To me, as a healthy thinker with this kind of sickness I have, I've lost the privilege of anger. Because it's dangerous to me to stay a good person.
Yeah, I can see that. Like I'm not a sociopath, but I can see that same tendency in myself and even in others. Like
just because I have that mental illness doesn't mean people don't have that tendency.
Yeah, like that tendency to be cruel when you're angry.
Right, exactly. That's my point. Because once I get angry, I can almost justify anything.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And that's why I said I've lost the privilege, because I am never forgetting who I really am. That's why I also hate when people go, oh, you can't be a sociopath. You're so kind. And I'm like, you should say, wow, Damien, you're living proof that we can be better too. That's what you should say. I can be, if that fucking sick fuck can get better, holy shit, so can I. So I'm just saying that, and I like I said, I've done bad things. So to me, I shouldn't be as good as I am. It's like a freakish thing, but it's not in the sense that I started to learn real value. I'm telling you, you once you grab, and that's why I see people think I'm like ridiculous talking about axiology all the fucking time. It changed my life. Grasping this change, I started seeing the world differently. I said it before. Someone goes, man, how could you be so kind? What did you read? What did you learn from? I'm like, I looked at my cat. That's actually how I did it. How I got, because I stopped only learning from people with words. And I started learning there's a lot of stuff going on. I thought, man, look at how she greets me with joy every day, even when the days suck. How about I wake her up? She's okay with it. She still loves me. Hey, that's you. How about when I actually bump her on accident and she doesn't know it's an accident? I could be hitting her on purpose. Yeah. But she loves me anyways. And I'm like, man, I want to be like that. I want to love like that. I want to understand the world like that. I'm fucking sick of these fucking hate-filled feelings or bullshit from the world. Yeah. I want something good. And I said to myself, there's someone good to copy. My cat. I want to love like that. I want to love like the sun shines down on everyone equally. I want to, and I told you before, I do it in such a way that it's actually stopped people from being trolls. That they felt shame. I've made them feel shame. They block me. They're scared of me. Right. In fact, I was kicked off of LinkedIn for bullying bullies because I'm so good at it by using dignity. That's why I said, you guys think dignity doesn't matter. Holy shit. I can have people come and tell me go fuck myself and they leave hurting.
Right.
Not me. So much so, like I said, they want me banned off of fucking, social media.
Fucking LinkedIn, eh?
Yeah. But so they're like, you shouldn't go around and say things to people to hurt them. I'm like, okay, I told him that he was not a man of honor. And I told him that if he thinks otherwise, please prove me by your behavior.
Yeah.
And like I told him too, okay, who do you think should win? one of our egos or the truth? Right? See, but I know how to say things in a way that people like cringe or whatever. But you know why? Because I bring it back to dignity. I bring it back to value. I bring it back to what really matters, and people get dumbfounded and affected. But here's the other thing too. We can use that to empower people. When you see others, offer. Don't wait. Offer now. What I mean by, I told you before, I've gone and done good things where you just tell people, I appreciate your effort. Thank you for being. It's not easy for me. Sociopath, I won't tell no one anything. But so when I'm doing it, it's not like I'm doing it, for my betterment, because I don't even care. What I'm doing it because I realize it does matter for others.
Right.
Like when I say we rise by helping each other, I don't feel like I've needed you at all. I don't need anybody. Look at where I've done. I don't even read books, and I'm fucking great as fuck. So I'm not doing it about me. It's really about other people. What I realized, what I realized. I think I can make a difference in the world. Then to me, ethically, I fucking have to. It's that simple.
Yeah.
If I can, then I fucking should. And if I didn't, I would feel bad. So you get what I'm saying about like the reason your behavior. And I tell you people too, there's morals, values, and ethics. So ethics is the social morality of how you interact with others in the world. Morals is about your own choice. Like Damien chooses to be an ethical human. I'm not putting that on Cory and everybody else. I think it would be a good idea if you did, and I believe you're already kind of doing that. Anyways, but what I'm saying is that's my morality. And then from that comes my ethics. But some people just need to do ethics, and if they don't, morality doesn't even have the same level. Because ethics is how you should treat other people.
Right.
Who gives a fuck what you think? Well, I don't think that this or that. Okay. Well, so everybody should have it, right?
But how are you treating people?
But you're treating everybody else ethically, right? I mean, just because you believe, like someone said to me, well, Biden may hate abortions, but he still is an American for all people. Well, then he should make it legal, because who gives a fuck what he thinks?
Yeah, that's right.
But so go ahead and keep reading. But
sure.
If you have any other questions, ask them. I'll try to make the answer short.
We are natural, evolutionary, derived dignity beings, not supernatural, magic derived soul spirit beings. What equals a dignity worth being? It is the being whose species has cognitive awareness at the expense of pain.
Yep.
To make another dignity being feel unethical pain is to do an attack to their dignity as well as your own. When Damien was younger and had little value of dignity, he felt proud when he harmed those he did not like.
Yes.
Now Damien finds the value of dignity deserving, even if doing it was seen as the only choice. If Damien wishes to value himself, as he now sees us all for who we are, valuable beings of dignity. So, I guess the idea here is that when we mistreat people, we're also mistreating ourselves.
Because what you've done is a violation. Remember I said that I can use words, right? I've probably said it more to you than other people. I haven't done a lot of videos on trying to explain all this. I've talked to you more because I also trust that you're not going to go use my shit to hurt people. But we're doing it all the time. People even that don't, it's not like I'm special and I know dignity and no one else does. Everyone does dignity attacks and dignity enrichments. The question is not that, it's how ethically you do them. And why do you do them? You know why Damien does them? When there's frustration, when there's stuff that needs to be moved so the person can learn. That's it. And once they learn, I stop. The goal was not hurt them. The goal was change.
Right.
Including with the bullies. As soon as they change, I'm willing to change with them because it never was about me. And that's because I'm a servant leader and it never was about me.
Right. As Damien sees it now, how harmful and odd he finds it for others to violate their own dignity by prejudice or bigotry against other humans, who are in fact previous fellow beings of dignity, still requiring due respect. We too often get blinded by the external packaging that holds a being of dignity internally. Sometimes we need to see the truth that many other people are liars and deniers while claiming they are believers. Once we stop seeing the dignity of others, we feel free to violate them with impunity. But when dignity is a friend, respect has become one's path.
So it just after you've heard that, does that sound like it's a complete opposite of socialism and anarchism?
The idea that everybody once you recognize that everybody's a person with dignity,
But do you see what its value a little more?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it's, in a sense, it's intuitive. Like,
it is. That's how I learned it from the cat. Who the fuck taught the cat?
Right. Yeah. No, that's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We've just trained ourselves in our society to do things in the wrong way.
Well, someone else said this before, that white people have more mental illness problems than people that are of African descent. I don't know if this is true, but I'm just going to make a statement about this. One of the reasons could be, if this is true, because of my understanding of history, is that white people killed all the strong or whatever ones that would fight back, in a sense, or non-slave mentality people that were black suffered more. So you end up with less of those kind of people. Also, whites did the exact opposite to whites. They favored the sociopath and psychopaths.
Right.
So you have those people having children and continuing the sickness. So you get an overabundance of violent and sickness in whites, which doesn't mean it was always there, but the good people get shamed. People that are, trying to do the right thing are generally not like me. You try to do the right thing, you try to care about people. It's amazing how I'm not more fucking successful. Well, this world doesn't want to hear bullshit like that. Like, oh, wait a minute, Damien, but some people. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I don't know how the truth of that statement, but I know, like, my partner's from Burundi, and she comes from that culture, and she looks back at her life and says, everybody in Burundi has gone through traumatic stress, and everyone has some level of post-traumatic stress disorder, and because they've lived through war, because they've lived through a genocide, they've lived, the people.
That's what I was trying to say, is it's artificial.
Yeah,
I know history. Believe me, this shit that we think is normal is artificial.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I tell people, the history of the world is that we all started as animists and anarchists and socialists, or communists, whatever you want to. That's it.
Caring for our communities.
There was no capitalist anything to me until 7,000, and then it's obvious property ownership. People didn't do that shit before then.
Right.
Some new sickness in the world started, and then we started worshiping that. It's fucking gross. But so to me, it's an artificial thing. Say that some people go, oh, well, women are smaller than men. I'm like, yeah, only in white countries where we've sexually selected them. Go look at some other native ones and see how they're pretty fucking close. Almost body weight and size. You know why? That's natural. This unnatural distinction that we have created, which we now think, oh, yeah, men are always bigger than women. That's a new bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I was saying that. But this is why I was saying, too, it is important to people to go read my videos and look at my stuff, because you don't really fucking know what you think you know. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, well, I think a lot of people are like that on a lot of things, right? Like,
that's true. That was a very logical statement.
People don't know what they think they know.
True.
This is kind of a tangent, but I'm rewatching the Sopranos TV series.
Yeah.
And Tony Soprano is obviously he's a mobster.
I saw some of it. Yeah.
He's a very toxic person.
Oh, yes.
But he's so confident in some of his very backwards ideas about the way the world works.
Yes.
Like it's, and it just reminded me of interacting with people online. Like it's just, this is how people are. They just are so confident that they're right when they believe like that in things like racial IQ and like they believe in like just nonsense.
But my point would still be, and So what if I was? See, this goes back to value. Who fucking cares? I'm fucking smarter than most of the people I talk to, but guess what? Who fucking cares? That seems to be everyone's opinion about me, right? Who fucking cares? So I don't understand why that's a new thing. Guess what? They have a big high IQ. Who fucking cares? Do you do good in the world? That's what you should care about.
Yeah.
Who fucking cares? Oh, wow. So you can glorify yourself?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Exactly. Oh, where are we? Inspiring good is not something to hide. Damien offers his life as an example of a good person. Damien does so not as self-glory, but to help others. And Damien once was a fucking piece of crap person. That feels like a weird sentence to say.
Well, but here's the thing. If you truly do not understand my life, you don't understand the glory of how I've become something different.
Right.
It is only like, oh, that's cool, instead of wow. That's what you should say, wow, because it's not just a little amazing; it's unfucking believable. It's like, what do they call it? Hollywood movie or something. My life is the fact that I can come from what I came from and turn into this is fucking amazing. It's like a fucking miracle. But it wasn't Jesus.
No way. Damien was once hateful and violent. Damien is a high-functioning sociopath due to extreme child abuse, and he changed. May my lips be sweetened with the words of encouragement and compassion. May my heart stay warm in the arms of kindness, and may my life be an expression of love to the world. Dignity awareness arises in our emotional awareness, always depending on cognition, but it doesn't take much to understand we all deserve dignity, acknowledgement, promotion, and protection. May we all reach the lofty high beam of humanity found in our freely offered acts of kindness. We are made great in our many acts of kindness. When dignity is a friend, respect has become one's path. We are all emotional beings and emote the entire time our brains are awake. Good moral reasoning.
Real, sorry, 1 second.
Yeah.
This is real important to people.
Yeah.
A neuroscientist said this, who's also an atheist, by the way. But he said that because of course, he hears a bunch of people say, especially in the atheist community, well, I'm the rational thinker, not an emotional thinker. If you do morality correctly or reason correctly, you are using emotions.
Yeah. Yeah, we both were in the atheist community for a while, and that was one of the biggest things that really got me, was this idea that I have removed all my emotions from my logical reasons to I believe only in pure science with no attachments and no bias at all. I'm just pure reason, I have no emotions at all. And it just always made me
not
go,
real.
I don't think you can do that.
And if you achieved it, the mind would have to be sick or be acting in a way that is sick.
Yeah.
And that's not healthy.
Yeah.
So that shouldn't even be a fucking goal. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Not only is it always happening, but it shouldn't be a goal to try to make it not happen. And we shouldn't respect people that's what they do, because that's not really good.
No. Your emotions are part of you.
Well,
you have to deal with them.
The emotions give the life depth. When I say that I care, what I'm really also saying is that I have this, in a sense, we have what's called moral disgust. Like when people see someone killed and they get sick and want to throw up, it's moral disgust. They weren't actually, smelling something. It was an emotional thing.
Right.
And it goes back to this. It's as you said, intuitive. This intuitive understanding of the violation of dignity is so deep that when we see it happen, it fucking breaks us, even if it doesn't happen to us.
Yeah.
But this is what's so crazy about that fact. We need to understand. If I was standing outside of a building and I could see through the window, and I'm in the sense, not that far, I could see the person killing you, but I was outside, I feel less moral weight than if I was inside watching, even though the only thing is the glass or whatever partition. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. But it's really what it is. It's a fallacy. Our brain is trying to protect us from harm, going, we don't have to care because it's not really in our space, as if somehow that fucking matters. But I'm just saying, it goes back to the same thing when people are like, well, that's Mexico, so, you know, if there's orphanages there, who gives a fuck? And Damien went help them. Why would you go help orphanages in Mexico, of all fucking places, or what, you know, stupid bullshit? Like, I don't know, because they're humans and they're in fucking need, and when dignity beings are in need, it does bother me.
Yeah. Okay, so good moral reasoning is actually logical and emotional. It is not wrong. It is wrong to think logical happens without any emotion. What is going on is emotional intelligence and logical thinking. Okay, so then we've got a dignity equals respect ?
Well, because someone asked me that's why. Does dignity equal respect?
Okay, so to Damien, dignity may be summarized as acknowledging as well as honoring that others own themselves and thus possess value as fellow dignity beings. In the end, all we really have is each other, and life is too damn short to not be kind.
Because we're being kind because we're grasping, holy fuck, everyone's as sensitive and as vulnerable and as delicate as me, and I sure don't want to be harmed and broken and damaged. I really do need to do that to the whole world. I mean, that's what I'm saying. And once you kind of grasp this to me, you centralize on this, then everything else comes off of it.
Right. It's I don't know. It's really interesting to think that people don't get that treating others well is.
No, like I said, they get it. They use logical fallacies to hide from it.
Yeah.
That's because I go, like you said, they don't get it. Really? Is that how? And when people tell me to go fuck off and I use dignity attacks against them, and then they go crying to mommy, and how was I able to do that? I thought they were these big tough bullies. Well, how the fuck or actually, like the one guy told me I hurt his feelings. This one guy attacks me as being intersex. I'm not legitimate and all this shit, and I attacked him back with dignity attacks, and he's like, hey man, that was uncalled for. That, you know, I really hurt. And I thought, this fucking fool just fucking violated me all over the place, and then he's offended that I was able to violate him back.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like when somebody comes to you to say, go fuck yourself, or you're not valid, or what have you, like they're doing that because they must understand dignity in some level. They just are being negative, right?
Yeah, right. They're doing dignity attacks or character attacks. Dignity attacks are different, but they can be the same as character attacks. But dignity doesn't. I can go, and like you say, I'm a good father, and I went, and just was quiet. That's a dignity attack, and yet I've said nothing.
Yeah.
Or like all the time, and they go, blah blah blah. Jesus is that, and I go, so.
Yeah.
But you see, so I'm not mistaken, and I'm not going to go into about because I don't want to teach people dignity attacks. I'm just saying about because like I said, if I really taught people all that I could do, it would be not healthy for others to go because they could use it for hurting people.
Yeah, fair.
But my point still is though, it is on us not to hurt people. Even if you did learn, let's say, the stuff that I teach, you should not, because if you're ethical, how the fuck are you doing that? You shouldn't be doing that. So is it just the fact that you don't have a gun that you don't kill people?
Obviously not, right?
Right? I mean, it should be. You should be able to even have a gun and not kill people. So,
yeah. I mean, without fear of repercussions from the law. Like, you don't kill, right? Yeah. Like, I know a lot of people, like, they talk about when it's religious affiliation, like, people talk about, well, why, without God, why you don't rape, as much as you want. Well, I do, like, which is none. Like, like I kill as many people a day as I want.
But you're not raping people because you don't like sex. You're not raping people because you value the dignity of others and you honor that they have a right to choose, and so you don't. Just like I told you, I like fucking women, and I have an open marriage, or actually that's the wrong word for it. It's really relationship anarchy, but most people don't even know what that is, so I don't even usually say that. I don't want to explain my whole life to people.
You got to explain everything.
I'm like, okay. They go, Damien, why is everything about you complicated? And I'm like, because I'm for real. That's why.
Because humans are actually really complicated.
I'm not saying everyone has to live my life, but yeah, I don't always fit into every little category that you understand.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, grasping the power and value of dignity. We are at a time of great change, and at a time when human dignity is being championed from this positive change happens. So one may well ask, what is this thing, dignity, anyway? Before I address this, Damien is often reminded that Father's Day is for many a time of great appreciation for loving fathers. Damien, on the other hand, has no bright story of his father, but rather a set of dark postcard memories of abuse and a general lack of respect for his rights or dignity. The vulnerable are always at risk for dignity violations. As an intersex person, Damien's religious parents believed he needed corrective surgery to make his genitals look male. Damien was not even told why he had an intersex mutilation scar, harming his body so they could say Damien was normal, but still treated him like a less worthy freak.
So and they didn't even tell me why. I knew I was being treated that way. I didn't even know why. I said, why am I not treated like the firstborn? Even in the Bible, the firstborn is like respected. Why is it like they'll have a seat for like everyone said the head of the table? I was never allowed to sit there. My friend came, right? And he sat down and then he goes, whoa, man, isn't this yours? And I go, you're not taking anything that's mine. It was never given to me. And he goes, man, that's weird. Why? And I said, I don't know. But now I know. It's because I'm intersex. They never saw me as a male or as a right to be the honored firstborn anything, which is some serious fucked up shit that, made me mad more in my adult life when I found that out than I had already been mad anyways in my childhood.
Right.
So that's the reason why, too. Like when my mom died, it caused such disruption in me emotionally. And it's not just about her being gone. It brought back all the fucking bullshit that I had to live with. That's why I said I don't do direct action anymore, because emotionally I'm not in a good place. Why this is important is I'm a sociopath. When I'm not in a good place, I might go hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
It's better for me not to be involved. And look at how much more toxic it is with Trump support. You don't think I'm not going to go off and fucking start beating somebody?
Right.
It's not healthy. I need to be healthy. So, but I'm still teaching. I can't do that direct action anymore because I'm not in a good place. I don't feel safe, and I do value Damien as much as anyone should. So I don't put myself in that position anymore. No, but if people think that it's because I'm afraid of other people, joke. I told you I can bully bullies, but right. but I don't feel good, and I don't want to do an ethical violation that ruins my entire career of being a good person. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. How fucking stupid would that be?
Yeah.
Or how much it would make me feel like a failure. Here I did all this, and then I fucking chose something that I know is not healthy for me.
Right. Yeah. It's counterproductive.
And it's also realizing I'm not perfect, and I can't do everything. So I'm not Superman. I can't do everything. But that's okay. I can do a lot. My value is not gone because I can't go direct action,
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. Damien couldn't follow his offered gender role as male way before he ever learned of his intersex status. Likewise, Damien always was two-gendered, way before Damien was ever learned the term for his gender labeled genderqueer.
Right, which I tell people, actually, I could also be called maybe even dual gender, being both male and female.
Okay.
Not either or, both. And let me tell you, the nightmare it is to have that in your own fucking head. Nothing about my intersex is a joy, but I think we should have rights. But nothing about it has made my life easier. Fuck no, it's been a fucking nightmare. So it's like when someone said, don't you have pride? I have a lot of pain, really. Pride, I don't know. I guess I should feel pride. I feel that we should have the right to feel pride. I'll put it that way. But yeah. But do I feel super great about it? No, it's been the biggest nightmare of my life. In fact, that's what I learned. I was hated my entire life from birth, from my fucking family, and treated as less than and scumbag and almost let to die and starved and all the fucking abuse. And So yeah, no, it doesn't make me feel. And their thing too is that I just want to get by. I'm like not trans. I don't need to do it, but I do want to be a kind of like a guy that wears makeup and is feminine because I'm not totally really a guy, but I'm not a female either. So, but this is worst thing is I'm stuck in male spaces only because of what I look like.
Right.
I hate almost everything about the male space. I'm like, why am I in here? I'd rather hang out with the women.
Yeah, I haven't spent much time like with in LGBTQIA spaces, but I have a little bit of time with other women or with women, and it's often much nicer.
Well, and like I said, for me, it's I really don't. I hate. That's the actual thing. So I'll just say it honestly. I fucking hate that male dominance bullshit. It's sickening to me. I hate it with every fucking fiber of who I am. That's why anarchism is so fucking natural to me. Like no hierarchy. Yeah, sign me up. I want the no hierarchy. That's like, damn, that I didn't know there's a word for anarchism. Great, let's go with that. Because I was already thinking that shit before ever. Like I said before, my family had me believing my anarchist nature was some kind of demonic possession that wanted like my own self or something to have rights.
Yeah. The thing that I get like that gets me about like male spaces is that often, and it even happens with guys that are really good in one-on-one, but when you get a group of men together, often that's when the misogyny really shows up and the real like the abuse, the homophobia, the like.
Oh yeah,
that's when that shows up, is when men start getting together in spaces. And I know that there's going to be men out there who are like, oh, but no, that doesn't happen in the spaces that I'm in and whatnot. And that maybe you found a really good one. Maybe you found a space that's really safe for all people. But where I am, most of the spaces I end up in where there's more than just me and one other dude, there's misogyny being spread. There's racism being spread because it's often very white spaces too. Like it can be really uncool.
And like I said, it's hard too because I'm terrifying in the sense to women. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've had people don't understand my experience. I have presence. I don't know how to explain this. Eye of the tiger, whatever. I don't know. I'm a natural fucking leader. I don't really. My personalities that like you took the test. It says I'm considered chief. I'm only I think 2% of the entire population have a personality like me. And I'm considered the chief. I'm the kind of person that just wherever I'm in, I can automatically take over and like run everything, and without even trying, without even following the rules. I just do whatever I want. It still works out.
Right.
Like they call it soma males or whatever that bullshit is. Like it's like a lone wolf that doesn't have to follow anybody, and yet everyone still likes them, and they don't follow any of the rules or almost whatever. They make their own shit up. But that's I don't even care about that bull crap. That's not really for me what it is. For me, I just really am this way. I just have a lot of fucking presence.
Yeah.
And so it both terrifies people and excites people, or makes them violent towards me. I had a lot of fights in my life because people are like, "You think you're big, you think you're tough," but it's really because they feel small because of my presence.
Right. Yeah.
And so they feel like I have done something to them, or just my existence is a challenge to them. And the same thing, I've had people walk up out of the blue at stores and just shake my hand. Man, I just have to shake your hand. I'm like, oh my God, again? Not that person, but just in my life, just leave me alone. Fuck.
Yeah. That's a really weird thing to do, though, isn't it? Like to go walk up to a stranger and shake their hand.
But I know that people would think I'm bragging or something. I'm not. I'm telling you, you don't understand. I'm like king of the hill. And I don't want it. I don't try. It's just who I am. It's just I walk with that kind of thing. I talk to people in that way of demanding authority or whatever. I don't know how to explain it, but exactly. But because even when I don't talk, it happens. So I don't know.
Who knows?
Just something. Anyways, but my wife's seen it many times. In fact, I've been in the grocery store and the woman starts shaking just because I'm standing there. Terrified.
Yeah. And that can't feel good.
It doesn't feel good to me. But I have to be also, this is what I was telling you before. It can't be all about me, right?
Right. Yeah.
someone who understands dignity doesn't go, well, I shouldn't be treated like this. They go, wow, someone else is hurting.
Yeah.
I feel bad for them.
They're afraid.
They're afraid. I don't want to keep doing what's making them feel bad.
Yeah.
Because that's not my intent. And in fact, I've had it before where I was like, I went to Michael's because I like art and creative things, but I don't look like the kind of guy that would to them. So I'm in there, and then I'm going out after I paid out the door, and I'm following this woman that I think is going out the doors, and then the doors didn't open. And she turns back and sees me and starts panicking, and then runs sideways and runs outside. And I just stopped because I respect others' dignity.
Yeah.
And I said, it makes me hurt and offended that you think I'm some fucking like madman. But I also respect that people do get scared, and I feel bad for that person. That's what I was trying to say about it. When you remove you and you move your ego, that how dare you treat me like that, or act like what I thought. Better to be willing to look at, like I said, be a student of the world, and look what's really happening, not for myself, but in the whole picture.
Yeah. It's like when you're walking down the street, say, and at night, and there's a woman ahead of you.
Right.
Perhaps you better not try. It's better to walk in a way that isn't intimidating, that you might try to be less intimidating.
And that's perhaps respectful.
Even, that's
the dignity is respect.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So the question is respect? Yeah, that's not exactly the same word, but yes, if you value someone's dignity, you will respect them. That's just automatic.
Right. Okay. Where are we? Damien wishes to not be the thing abuse made, as he values not just his own dignity, but that of others. Because if the only rights one fights for are their own, then they have a lot to learn about the value of rights. The English word dignity, attested from the early 13th century, comes from Latin dignitas, or worthiness, by way of French dignité. I'm not French. I don't.
Well, the point of reading it is not to get the pronunciation right, but to get the understanding.
Yeah. English speakers often use the word dignity in prescriptive and cautionary ways. For example, in politics, it can be used to critique the treatment of oppressed and vulnerable groups and peoples, but it has also been applied to cultures and subcultures, to religious beliefs and ideals, and even to animals used for food or research. Dignity also has descriptive meanings pertaining to the worth of human beings. In general, the term has various functions and meanings depending on how the term is used and the context. And then we got some thoughts from the Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy. So the concept of human dignity features in ethical, legal, and political discourse as a foundational commitment to human value or human status. A focal concept of human dignity can be reconstructed, even if its use or varied understanding, or even if there are many competing conceptions of human dignity, and this concept provides the most illuminating perspective from which to view human dignity's range of conceptions and uses. Human dignity can denote the special elevation of the human species, the special potentiality associated with the rational humanity, or the basic entitlements of each individual. There are, by extension, dramatically different normative uses to which the concept can be put. It is connected variously to ideas.
Because people probably don't know, I am both a normative philosopher and, in a sense, a hypothetical philosopher, which is, that's not the right word. It didn't come to me, but theoretical. That's what it is.
There you go.
I'm also I was like, I'm a both normative and a theoretical philosopher. Normative means things that you do like in your everyday life. Theoretical is how we invent or concept ideas. So I actually can do both.
Okay.
Which some people don't, which is super beneficial for explaining morality when you understand both.
Right.
One is you think of that we should have dignity. The other one is here's how you apply
it. Yeah. Okay, where was I? Human dignity can. Damn Damn it. There are, by extension, dramatically different normative uses by which the concept can be put. It is connected variously to ideas of sanctity, autonomy, personhood, flourishing, and self-respect, and human dignity produces at different times strict prohibitions and empowerment of the individual. It can also potentially be used to express the core commitments of liberal political philosophy, as well as precisely those duty-based obligations to the self and others that communitarian philosophers consider to be systematically neglected by liberal political philosophy. A characteristic expression is found in the preamble of the International Convent on Civil and Political Rights from 1966, whose rights, quote, derive from the dignity and the equitable and inalienable rights of all. No, I skipped a line. Derive from the inherent dignity of the human person, and whose animating principle is recognition of the inherent dignity and the equal and unalienable rights of all members of the human family as the foundation of freedom, justice, and peace in the world.
So yeah, no big deal.
Right.
So you're like, why does Damien always talk about dignity? I'm trying to help you guys understand it matters like a big time.
Yeah, for sure. Importantly, this is inherent dignity represents a potential bridge between a number of different ideas and ideals, namely freedom, justice, and peace. In fact, it is this potential to bridge different fields of regulation, human rights, bioethics, humanitarian law, equality law, and others that we might take to be the most important function of human dignity in international law.
Yeah, so once again, very fucking important. But you know how many people will watch this video? Probably nobody. Because they won't grasp that they need to. They're born knowing. They are stupid thing David talks about. Man, whatever.
It's just dignity. No big deal.
No big deal. Like, it's fucking only the politics and everything you think and justice and ethics and well-being and flourishing and all those things that don't really matter. So who cares?
Right. We can just ignore it, right?
We can just be nihilists and go, who cares? I don't care. Like I told you before, to me, just real quick, not to be real mean to nihilists, but just to make a point. To me, nihilism is an emotional response to realizing the world is fucking lying to us. But the response is, fuck you and fuck them. Instead of, oh my God, someone needs to care. Which is an axiologist, what we do. Right. We agree with the nihilists. You're right. The world's fucking lying.
Yeah, things are bad.
Things are fucking bad. We're on the same page, but your response to things are bad is also bad.
Yeah.
Anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
So we've got from Wikipedia. Dignity is the right of a person to be valued and respected for their own sake and to be treated ethically. It is of significance in morality, ethics, law, and politics as an extension of the Enlightenment era concepts of inherent inalienable rights. The term may also be used to describe personal conduct, as in behaving with dignity. When dignity is a friend, respect has become one's path. An axiological value judgment assessment of human beings shows with an axiological awareness of logic of values is clear, which takes its basic premise that all persons always deserve positive regard, which is progressive logic by William J. Kelleher.
Who is a formal axiologist and an atheist. In fact, when I asked him, what are your opinions of God? He goes, I don't really have a God preference. Which one do you mean? And I go, see, an axiologist right after my own heart.
Yeah. Which one do you mean?
What do you mean by God? First off.
Be specific, please.
Yeah, we're axiologists. We don't generalize. You're going to have to be a lot more detailed.
Yeah, that's right. And the reason we should be is because we are dignity beings. Dignity is an internal state of peace that comes with the recognition and acceptance of the value and vulnerability of all living things. From Donna Hicks, 2011, Dignity, the essential role it plays in resolving conflict. So why care? Because we are dignity beings, and others are just another fellow being of dignity. Damien once thought no one is friendly, so Damien decided to start trying to be a friend to others. No one even seemed to care, so Damien realized he needed to care. No one really made you feel as if you mattered, so Damien started valuing others. He saw the world he wished to live in starts with him. After all, other people are just fellow beings of dignity like me. You can be kind and never love, but you cannot love and never be kind. Therefore, it is this generosity of humanity we need the most of. So if you can be kind, as in the end, some of the best we can be to others, as in the end, some of the best we can be to others is to exchange kindness. For too long now, we have allowed the dark shadow of hate to cloud our minds while we wait in silence as if pondering if there is a need to commiserate. For too long, little has been done, and we too often have been part of this dark clouded shame of hate, violating the dignity of our fellows keeps occurring. Simply so many humans now, but sadly one still left asking, where is the humanity? We ought to care, ? Why we ought to care? Because kindness is like a chicken soup to the essence of who we are, by validating the safety needs of our dignity. When the valuing of dignity is followed, a deep respect for oneself and others as dignity beings will become more common. When we can see with the eyes of love and kindness how well we finally see and understand what demonstrates of a mature being of dignity when we value the human rights of others, as we now see the others in the world as fellow beings of dignity. We need to understand.
Can you internalize that? I mean, when you read that, does that make you think any different, or is there any new understanding or relating you have?
Well, yeah. I mean, this is kind of how I've already viewed things, right?
I told you. I told you when I met you. I said you didn't even know the word. I said you had moral courage. I said that you have a very rare thing. You have moral courage. This is not normal. Everyone does not have this.
Yeah,
you have it. That's why I like the shit out of you, because you have it. And it's not everybody. Once in a while, and people have it, I tell them they have it because that's in dignity enrichment that helps them to flourish in that understanding.
Yeah, it seems, I don't know, I can't necessarily place when I learned that, this is the way to live. But I can definitely say that I didn't always live this way. Right? So somewhere along the line, I switched my mode of thinking.
You switched your values to moral. Yeah. To moral courage had a very high value. And like I said, I do it too. And it's fucking rare. And everybody knows it. You stand out. No matter where the fuck you go, you stand out because guess what? It is fucking rare.
Yeah.
But like as I said too, people need to go on your channel and do your stuff. It's not just Cory does great stuff with me. Cory is a great person. Here's the thing too. Even if you don't like everything he did, Cory is a great person. If you don't support great people, what the fuck are you doing? Sorry, but go ahead.
No, that's
some shit that has to be said, you know.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny. When we first started chatting, it probably would have made me uncomfortable when you did that. But I'm okay with that. I appreciate it.
You should, because you're a person of value. And like I said, the problem before was you were not using axiological value or anarchist or even socialist value. You were using capitalist value. Ooh. That's like copying psychopaths to get your morality. The fuck? Do you think you're going to get good morality doing that shit?
Right. Yeah, no, you can't use the tools of the machine to make yourself better.
I'm a failure to them. I suck. I'm terrible. Here I have all this ability and done nothing with it to them. Yeah, I will empower people. What the fuck? That's no big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just watching something the other night too, and like the character, the main character, is like a genius. Like can read books really well and absorb everything and understand it really easily. And everybody's talking about his wasted potential.
Right.
And I'm just like, but what if he's just happy doing what he's doing?
Well, I totally agree. But like I said, I felt like I could not just be good for myself. Otherwise, I would do nothing. I would do pizza. I'd stay in jacuzzis, go to strip clubs. I don't give a fuck. I don't need to do anything to impress people. I wouldn't even be online at all. No one even know about me. But I realized this actually when I was in college, why I dropped out. I had straight A's. I had fucking dean's list and all kind of shit. They're fucking dumbfounded. Holy fuck. Heck, most of the damn teachers were like, dude, I'm like learning shit from you. So, but I realized it is like pro-religion up the fucking ass. It's almost anti-atheist anything. They're talking about psychology. I'm like, whoa, this is not healthy. Weird. This is not healthy at all. This is wrong. So I already felt that. I thought maybe I'll go to social work. Maybe I can't be a psychologist. Maybe this is too sickening for me, personally. I'm not saying, I'm not trying to attack the whole field. I'm just saying
maybe it's not meant for you. Yeah.
What I was taught didn't sound very good to me.
Right.
I'm not saying some of the ways of, cognitive behavioral therapy or some of the, I really liked also one that I don't hear most people talk about, which is narrative therapy. The fact that you can rewrite your story, or the fact of how just talking about your story like gives it voice, and how that doesn't just change you, but changes also everyone around you. And how also we sometimes get into telling scripts. These little things that we just throw out for people, and it's not real, or even if it's real, it's like a characterization of our life. Like if I told you about my life and my child abuse really fast, So
right.
Does that mean you really have heard the depth of my child abuse? Not even close.
It makes me think, like, I don't talk about myself a lot. I try to talk about issues and broad spectrum things and kind of ideas and whatnot. But when I'm on somebody else's show, often they'll ask me about my life. But I have a script in my head that I kind of recite every single time.
Right.
And it skips over like 90% of what's going on.
But that's what I'm saying but it also is narratives. What if I said, well, here's Cory, an average person doing average things and not really making nothing. Or if I said, here's Cory in the midst of an average world and being very, very valuable.
Right.
Same thing. It's just a narrative.
Yeah. Yep.
And as an axiologist, my question is not, is it a narrative? I know it's a narrative. My question is it accurate? And how helpful towards value is it?
Right.
These are more important.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Yep. For sure. Where was I? We need to understand what should be honored in others as fellow dignity beings and the realization of the value involved in that, as well as strive to understand how an attack to a person's human rights is an attack to the value of the worth of the dignity being. Yes, I want to see you, that previous being of dignity, worthy of high value and an honored moral weight to any violation of their own self-ownership. And this dignity being with self-ownership rights is here before you are seeking connection. What will you do? Here you are in the question, ever present, even if never said aloud. Do you see me now, or are you stuck in trying to evaluate others, value and assessing their worth as a fellow being of dignity? A violation of one's dignity, which is the emotional awareness or the emotional detection of the world as a dignity being, can be harmful. Simply, we must see how it can create some physiological disturbance in the dignity being it's done to. This might be a repeat of earlier stuff, I think. Damien is a mutualist thinker, and to me, we are all in this life together as fellow dignity beings. Therefore, I want life to be a benefit to others in the world. So a good start is in fully grasping the power and value of dignity. We are naturally evolutionary derived dignity beings, not supernatural magic derived soul spirit beings. What equals a dignity worth being? It is the being whose species has cognitive awareness and the expense of pain. To make another dignity being feel unethical pain is to do an attack to their dignity as well as your own. And we kind of covered that a little bit too.
Right. And well, people didn't use, like I said, intuitive. People have a lot of say, well, Native Americans say, take what you need and leave the rest, or respect animals even when they kill them. Yeah, that all of that matters.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't think it matters for the religious reason. I think it matters because of the dignity reason.
Right. See if do we want to go over the stuff that we've kind of covered some of this already.
Well, then skip down.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see where it stops being stuff that we already did. Why do we struggle in speaking what our heart loves as thoroughly and as passionate as what we dislike or hate? When you say an act of mercy, the thing that is being appealed to, or for, is the proposal for the human quality of dignity. May my lips be sweetened by the words of encouragement and compassion. May my heart stay warm in the arms of kindness, and may my life be an expression of love to the world. Dignity awareness arises in our emotional awareness, always depending on cognition, but it doesn't take much to understand. We all deserve dignity, acknowledgement, promotion, and protection. So, axiology. Oh,
no, go ahead. No, I was going to say, I know it gets down there. I start talking about dignity attacks and stuff, and dignity enrichments at some point.
Okay. For this, I'm not sure if it's in this one, but axiology, morality, and the dignity being, and the quote-unquote human entity. To Damien, often morality can be generally thought to start in an emotionally driven response or realization that is then hopefully navigated with emotional intelligence, social awareness, and a rational thought to reach a just, morally responsible response. Yeah. We start with biological impulses that are responses to stimuli that can produce a sensation, which often can produce emotions, and these emotions start the process that can be found to be involved in morality, moral and ethical reasoning. To Damien, he is happy with life, even if Damien had to die today, as he feels he has become a good person, a life's goal. And Damien finally has lived a good life, trying to be of help to others, when or where Damien can. To Damien, some of our issues grasping the ontology of morality is our limited, all or nothing, either or, black and white thinking.
Which is a fallacy.
Yeah, 100%. It's always zero sum. I either win or I lose.
That's why I have no problem talking, and why I don't think anyone should have a problem, and why no one's anarchism for sure should have a problem with multiple different ideas. I mean, as long as they're not ones that are attacking dignity and human rights, as long as that's why I said I fight for socialism in general. You're communist, okay, you're a Marxist-Leninist, or you care about dignity, yeah, cool. Even if you're a Democrat, you care about trying to help further, the rights and dignity. I don't think you understand what I'm talking about totally, but I do appreciate that they say it's important. Yeah. Because all of you, any of you that care, are doing something positive in the world, and that I can support.
That's why I get so hung up on Twitter when people are attacking other people who are trying to do good.
I agree.
Because they disagree with some aspect of their ideas. Like, I don't give a shit if you're a Marxist-Leninist. Some of the best people I know are. Just because I'm an anarchist.
I can't say that totally, but I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying I don't have any bunch of personal relationships with them.
Right.
So I don't. But I wasn't saying it that way. I just what you just said, I can't say.
The idea that because they're not an anarchist, they are my enemy.
That totally agree with.
Is like I can't. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's obvious. I care about people, regardless of their tendency. If they're doing good, they're doing good.
Because you're thinking axiologically is why. Axiologically, we don't, those the words. Fuck is a word, a term. It's like when people are like saying Ukraine. I made a meme that says for Russia, instead of Russia, it says East Ukraine.
Right.
And then instead of China, I wrote West Taiwan.
Right.
Yeah. What the fuck is in a name? Nothing, you fucking idiots. It's about the value of the people involved. Fucking quit fighting over fucking names. Dumb as hell. I would, like I said before, I wish people would support values and things that matter as much as they care about these names and labels and organizations they think that care about values.
Yeah, that's right. The idea that a nation has the same value system as I do, it isn't equal. It's not possible. Such as people saying morality is objective or subjective. They are both right. Morality is both qualities that are subjective and has qualities that are objective. It is not either or. That is a false dichotomy of the ontology of morality.
Yeah. We'll do a video sometime on morality. Next time, I want to do a video because someone had asked me a question. That's why I wanted to address it. Plus, it kind of relates to the abortion stuff. My life in relationship anarchism, which a lot of times I just say open marriage, but that's
right.
Relationship anarchism means I live a non-normative, what I mean by that is instead of saying like who wears the pants, we go, yeah, what do you mean by that? Pants. What's pants?
We all wear the pants, motherfucker.
No one
wears the pants.
My point is that there's no concept of pants. It's like saying, well, which box do you fit in? I go, we don't think in boxes.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
So like, well, to me, we are two sovereign human beings that love each other, and we treat each other as best we can to emulate that.
Yeah.
Period. And so, but to me, so that's why I'm saying it's not like poly and swinging and all that. It doesn't start with sex is the point.
Right. It
starts with respecting the other person as a fellow dignity being and also a separate fellow dignity being. Not that we're not married somehow as in now we're one person. And I'm not saying everyone has to live their life my way. I'm just saying that this is how we arrange things. Non-hierarchical, non-normative, and super about ethics and everything, including if I'm going to go do sex. I tell her what's going on, and then I don't treat her with disrespect because it happens or after it happens. Or if she wants to call me in the middle of it, then she's more important than anything else I'm doing. I'll take a call even if I'm in the middle of having sex because my wife matters to me. And not in a way that other people understand because they have these limitations that they've decided. Where my thing is totally different. She knows I'm super sexual. I'm also a sociopath. Sociopaths usually have terrible jobs, like histories, like they every fucking kind of like me. You fucking basically get fired or quit. All their fucking things don't last long, not even a year. And then the same thing, their relationships don't last long, generally not even a year, or if they are, they're fucking toxic and they're still cheating as fuck. I mean,
right.
It's just. So here's a healthier thing. I like to have lots of sex, and I still want to be with you. How can we work it so that we treat each other with the most respect, not the most sex for Damien, but the most respect for each other? And that sometimes means my wife has told me I would prefer you not to have sex with that person. And I say, okay. That's how you work it. Ethical non-monogamy. But like I said, even focusing on non-monogamy is still... Don't ever call that what I really do. What I do, in a sense, it's part of that. But what I do is relationship anarchism. If you understand that, read that. That is what I do.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So if you're wondering what I am, that is what I am. Don't call me something else because you're wrong.
Yeah, I talked to somebody a few years ago about relationship anarchy because polyamory was a big discussion at the time. Right. And so I had somebody on my old show to talk about it. And she described what she believes in as relationship anarchy.
Okay.
And I thought it was really interesting. Like the idea that, it's it's not specifically polyamorous, right?
Yeah,
like it's
absolutely not. Because it's also almost like I would say anti-capitalist, but in a sense, it's just this different way of seeing value and different way of seeing a relationship and different.
Right.
But it never hinges on an out of balance hierarchy. It never bends on a normative against the person or something.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's more important.
Right.
Sex is just a adjunct to all that. Because if you don't have that, then to me, you don't have relationship anarchism. Relationship anarchism is not poly. Poly is, in a sense, not relation to anarchism.
Right. They're not necessarily.
They could be involved or whatever, but to call it that generally means that's what they do. Because they see this. Because I would say, anyways, even if I wasn't that, I'm neither a swinger or poly correctly. I'm somewhere not that. Because yeah. I can have sex almost as fun with a friend in a fun thing, but I also can fall in love. And so Polly would say, of course you have to fall in love. And then and so swinging would say you should never fall in love. So I wouldn't fit in either of those. I don't like orgies. I don't like out of control sex. To me, I'm just saying. I like it more like, to me, I like my wife is bisexual and she's shared women with me. And to me, I like romantic threesomes. Go out to eat first and treat. I mean, but it's a playful fun. It's because if you don't have any of these norms of who's whatever, you operate in a way that's different. Anyways, for sure. I want to do it in the next video where we talk about all this.
No, that's really interesting.
And how you and your human right, consent, and and abortion, because there's a lot of people like that may get pregnant or an accident and have abortion. So we're going to talk about all that, but not right now.
Sounds good. Okay, to understand the point Damien is making, think of love. Is it absolutely subjective? Yes and no. We can experience love subjectively, but even though it is that this fact is true, it is also simultaneously a fact that love, the feeling can be said to be expressed in some universal ways, as to which we can see love actions in others and in animals.
Yep.
Yeah. It's this fact that feeling of love biologically inspires common and distinct universal behaviors that is objective, which is similar to what I'm saying about morality.
Right. How does the cat know to not bite me all the time?
Right. Sorry. I was just
sorry. Good.
My partner says this all the time. Like our 3-year-old sometimes grabs the cat's tail and she'll pull pretty hard. And I will, I'll give her heck or whatever for it. But the cat never scratches her.
Right.
Why doesn't the cat scratch her? Because she knows that this is not this is not an abusive situation. She's not hurting you on purpose.
No, but that shows more reasoning. Yep. Totally. And like I said, but it also shows that they grasp dignity.
Yeah.
That's why I said I learned kindness from my cat, because I became willing to be a student of the world.
Yeah.
Just like you just said, you learn in a sense, or your partner learned from what the child was doing with the cat, or the vice versa, that you learn from the cat how to think and do. I'm just saying, or you see the evidence of it. Well, just like, ever seen animals, like I've seen cats interact with like a dolphin. How does the dolphin know? I told my wife this because she was like, I don't know what you say. You told people kindness from the cat. What do you mean by that? I said, do you realize that the cat headbutts us and that it thinks already that we'll know that's loving?
Mm-hmm.
Why would hitting involve love? Because they're being vulnerable. To put down your head is like a bowing in a sense, like the Japanese in a sense. You no longer can protect yourself. Mm-hmm. It's an act of non-protection, which only demonstrates the feeling of dignity, safety, that I'm not going to be harmed and violated. I'm just saying, but they know that.
Right.
They'd be like, oh, I'm really surprised. I'm like, dude, didn't you read? I sent you an article I saw today about bugs having, emotional worlds and all that. That doesn't surprise me. I already knew they were dignity beings. You just guys figured that out? Okay. You need to be a student of the world, man. But shit, I've known that for a long time.
Right. It's interesting because like even plants have certain experiences that they communicate that we just haven't learned, like we haven't recognized for a long time. And there's a lot going on there.
And yeah, they're mushrooms and trees and fungus. Actually, sometimes I've seen one thing where the fungus operates as like a telecom network between trees. Right. They use the fungus to talk to the other trees. I'm like,
this is wild.
But I gotta go, you know what? It doesn't actually go outside of my worldview, whatever, because I go, yeah, right. I already know the dignity, man. And I already know that we need to treat everything differently, that we are. And just think, though, feels like it's no big deal. Could you imagine a world where everyone had Damien's opinion about dignity and we treat everyone in that way? How would that not be a good thing? Holy fucking shit. Who's really against me trying to promote that? I mean, what the? You better check your own morality if you think this is a bad thing.
Yeah, for sure. It's I don't see a problem with that. Treat everybody kindly. Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, the horror of it all.
Yeah. Okay. Quickly grasping naturalistic morality. To better grasp a naturalistic morality, one should see the perspective of how there is a self-regulatory effect on the self-evaluative moral emotions, such as shame and guilt. Broadly conceived, self-regulation distinguishes between two types of motivation: approach/activation and avoidance/inhibition. One should conceptually...
Or fight or flight, to be
simpler. Oh, yeah.
But people understand, too, there's also something else that we do, which is called tend and befriend.
Okay.
Well, of course, they only focused on the uber male aspect of the world, which is fight or flight, right, and not on the uber feminine approach generally, which is tend and befriend. But men do this too, but they just generally do it around war. Like when men go to war, they become brothers in arms.
Right.
Yeah, that's actually tending and befriending.
Interesting. One should conceptually understand the socialization dimensions, parental restrictiveness versus nurturance, associated emotions, anxiety versus empathy, and forms of morality, prescriptive versus prescriptive, that serve as precursors to each self-evaluative moral emotion.
And prescriptive thing, what it's talking about is like Christians are always saying, well, if you don't have God telling you the 10 Commandments, how the hell do you not kill people? You know, that's a prescriptive. They're told what to do.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that sometimes being told what to do is a bad thing, as long as it follows real dignity and real morality, not some pseudo morality bullshit that doesn't have, like, well, I just think that I favor nihilism, and so I'm gonna have a gun, and someone wants, let's kill him because hey, what the fuck, shouldn't get in my space. I mean, what the fuck's wrong with you, dude? To have a gun should be about protection, right? Not attacking people,
right?
So if the gun is a tool of protection, I have no problem with it.
Yeah. Yep.
I hear so many people that talk about the tool of protection saying some vicious shit that sounds like psychopaths. So I have more problem with that than the actual gun.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
You know the values. Holy shit.
Okay. Think there is no objective morality? ? So if I can show one simple objective morality fact, then there is at least the possibility of objective morality, right? Humans, feeling beings, life are to be protected over dirt, garbage, non-life. And to care for the harm of dirt, garbage, non-life over the harm of humans, feeling beings, and life is unethical and, of course, a possibility of objective morality. Yeah. Yep. It's interesting that's actually something that is kind of in question for some people.
Because I would say that especially to me, a lot of times in the atheist movement, or what they call skeptics movement, the reason to me, I think one of these problems, when people say skeptics movement, right, or atheist movement, they think of what exactly? Everybody online?
Yeah, probably.
Or do you mean people that are famous atheists? And that's the skeptic community. What do you mean by that? And when you say they think a certain way, have you heard them all think? Because I listen to a bunch of people that call themselves skeptics and claim that they're agnostic and all this. And I'm like, okay, so at the time, David Silverman was still popular with me and other people. And David Silverman doesn't use the word agnostic, right? So I'm not talking about so everyone thinks it's just me, like I'm the anti-agnostic and everybody else is pro-agnostic. Wrong. Matt Dillahunty, anti-agnostic. Aaron Ra, anti-agnostic. There's a couple of philosophers, I can't remember off the top of my head now, but a whole bunch of the people that you think are the heads do not actually agree with agnosticism. Yeah. So like I said, you have this fallacy of online people who have told me since, I don't know, the whole time I've been online, since, what was it, 2005 or something? I don't know, 6, or maybe it was later, 2009. I don't know. Whatever. The whole time, my interacting with atheists who claim that they're part of the skeptic or the atheist community is that they think you have to be an agnostic or an agnostic atheist.
Right.
Otherwise, and they'll say this bullshit to me, which I just go, oh my God. They'll say, it is the only logical position. And I go, that's funny because that's a pseudo-logic statement.
Right.
How's that? Oh, I'm sorry. So you figured out that agnosticism is true? You have the proof to support this position? What are you talking about? Oh, well, you can do it figuring out. Oh, so you use logic. But the problem I have is if logic is now evidence to support your position, it also is the evidence to support not your position. As in, I am anti-agnostic and until you can prove me fucking otherwise. Because all I hear when I hear religious terms, I am an agnostic with an I, not an A. And this is the difference. People make it simple because they're like, oh, it sounds like a... It's not the same thing. An agnostic is me as an axiologist, right, is very favorable towards that position. An axiologist would automatically, in a sense, without knowing it, be an agnostic because you would say those terms you're using have no value.
Right.
They're just bullshit. You use a papa gum, tickabagat, shikabadawat. You have to believe that or else you have no morality. You're like, what the fuck? Right? That's how I hear when you say God, Jesus, and Mother Mary or whatever. I hear fucking nonsense talk.
Yeah.
Well, because I have bubblegum, that's why my book is true. And you're like,
in what way does bubblegum prove this? Yeah.
But so what I'm saying is,
yeah, the idea that God lives outside of the universe, right? It's a nonsense concept.
But you understand the fallacy started at God.
Well, yeah, that's
right.
right.
Is God because you say God. So here's what I hear: unknown lives outside of the known. Duh. No. How about duh? Duh. Yes. Unknown lives outside of the known. You're trying to call that a being that you know, and I have a big problem with that.
Well, I also have big problems with the idea of like things living outside of the universe.
I know, but you get my point though. You're just saying I don't know, and that's something.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'm agnostic of I don't know. What? I'm not sure about it. I don't think anyone could be sure about I don't know. In fact, no one can know I don't know. And I'm like, yeah, I agree. No one knows that you don't know what you don't know because it's not a thing. And I don't know why you're talking about it in this weird, abstruse way because it isn't anything. Well, it could be possible. What? The unknown?
There's lots of unknown.
Well, God, the unknown? Yeah, the unknown is possible. You're doing it currently, but go ahead. But anyways, I don't want to go into and I'm not trying to tirade against agnostics. I'm just trying to say but they will swear that it's the only thing, really, because none of the people you guys idolize like it. So I don't even understand why this sick dimension is gone. But you know what? I also blame the people in charge. You should have been saying a lot about this like me.
Right.
Why not? I have like 8-10 blogs about agnostics. Not because I wanted to. In fact, I was never even going to address agnostics. But agnostics went out of their way to keep telling me I was wrong, and I had to fight them so many times. But damn, just make this into a blog.
Right.
You're wrong. You use pseudo logic to try to prove that you're right. then you just come up with some fantasy shit. Like all of a sudden, you don't know, and that's how I know. I'm like, what the fuck kind of logic? That's a non sequitur. Blah, 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 blah. Yes. No.
Yeah.
So anyways, but my point still goes back about value. The reason that I was bringing this up, though, is about value. And so when we said, why don't to me, like the atheist movement, to me, felt like its goal was atheism only.
Mm-hmm.
To the point that they even actually attacked me for posting pictures of cats, like my own cats. I'm not saying there's some atheists that do, but I'm saying I have been told, you are too important with all the shit you say, cut all that other bullshit out and just do your atheism. And I'm like, we have a problem already because none of this shit I do is bullshit, so go fuck yourself.
That's where I started, like, parted ways with much of the atheist community, is when they stopped being about improving the world and started being about, oh, well, we just all agree we're about atheism.
Atheism only.
How can you be about atheism only? How can that be a thing?
Because you're not valuing. Because like I say, see, this is the problem. But I'm not atheist only. You know why? I didn't come to atheism as some kind of a by itself thing. It was really a realization of the world that all comes like dignity. Is dignity singular? Is it by itself? Is it not connected to anything? Oh my God, dignity is actually connected to fucking everything.
Yeah.
In fact, I even told you it's how I fight battles against trolls and win like almost every fucking time.
Right.
Is simply because I grasp this on a deep level, and so I can do whatever I want to.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, we're gonna do it. By the way, everybody, we're gonna do a thing, maybe 2 or 3, probably when I get the house, because I want to be able to be more comfortable. Mm-hmm. But we'll do once. I'll say that it could be 3 or 4 months. Once I get in the house, me and Cory are going to go through atheism.
Yeah,
just like I went through religion, we're going to do the same thing. Tell the truth. And you know what? A lot of people may be offended. But if the truth offends you, then maybe you need to reassess what you care about truth.
Yeah. And obviously with the prehistory, Damien is the expert. But I spent a lot of time in the modern new atheist movement.
Yes.
So I have some insights.
Yeah, well, and it's, like I told you, some ways you have insights I don't have in the atheist movement, and I have insights you don't have. Yeah. I hung around David Silverman, Aaron Ra. I've hung around Matt Dillahunty personally by myself, me and Matt Dillahunty, for 45 minutes in a jacuzzi, with our shirts off, talking philosophy. Now, I talk to him in a real way. I'm just saying I've had experiences that probably other people don't have. Aaron Ra wanted me to come to his house. I mean, I'm just saying I have a different. So my experience is sort of like in the atheist elite or whatever. At the same time, I was a nobody in a sense, because look at how no one even knows who I am. But yet here I was hanging. You know who does know who I am? All the people that are important. Those people, a lot of them know who I am and think highly of me, or are scared of me, or think that whatever. But the point is, they don't think I'm no big deal.
Right. Yeah.
Like everybody else seems to do.
So I guess, we might as well continue this.
Continue.
It's going to be good, though, I think.
We're going to spend like 10 weeks or something, or not 10 weeks, but 10 Saturdays, whatever.
Yeah.
So my thing is, it's going to be a full series, not like one video. It's really great. It's going to be a full series breaking shit down. And yes, you definitely. I've watched maybe 5 Matt Dillahunty videos. I've watched like 2 of Aaron Ra's. I did read Aaron Ra's book. Maybe about 60%. I read more than I usually do. Fucking trust me. Because I was like trying to care, because I was, friends with them. So
Yep.
But anyways. But I was just saying, we'll talk about all that, but yeah, let's go back to this.
Okay. Are there objective facts about or in the world? Yes. Then we can evaluate them objectively. So yes, then we can say that what is a better or worse choice objectively in relation to the objective facts. Morality confusion doesn't start at the dilemma, but the value judgment of the parts. Morality is not just the final conclusion reached or offered, but all of the parts that are involved and the most responsible and reasonable based on the assumption that there are a set of things, not just one thing. And this is an assessment of the value of what's involved and thus what would be a most responsible and reasonable choice. So are there objective facts? Is there such a thing as objective methods? Can we objectively conclude the value of objective facts with objective methods to conclude objective conclusions of value or in relation to objective facts? To Damien, it is an answer of yes, and thus morality is not a special thing. It can involve in objective facts and objective methods, and thus can involve objective conclusions. The word objective hit the list.
Well, the only reason, but once again, I'm trying to explain it in a way that people hear what it is.
Yeah.
Because but they have this wishy-washy opinion that I just feel is not valid. It's a fallacy. It's like they go,
I agree.
Well, there's no is or an ought, and I'm like, okay, this reminds me of when Christians will say, how did water get on the earth if not for God? And I'm like, well, you do understand the earth is not a closed system, right?
Yeah.
So once you understand morality does not involve a closed system, there's other people. That's how you understand that you can do it. Yes, there's no is and ought from a closed system that we don't live in.
Right.
Like water came from asteroids and it was not somehow God had to do it.
Yeah, that's right.
Because they'll say, well, didn't the earth start out as molten lava? I'm like, yeah. So all natural water was burned off or pushed underground or was left underground because it wasn't, able to escape from the molten lava, whatever. But how did water get on theirs? Where's the water? This goes back to the people who used to think it was comets. But comets have heavy water in the earth. I can't remember exactly, so I'm just throwing a basic number, something like 10% or 8%. I'm sure scientists are like, oh, no, it's 3.265 or,
Whatever.
Whatever, dude. Okay, my point is not about the number. I'm trying to say that most of the Earth's water is not heavy water, which I think they use for nuclear. Most of it is light water, which comes from asteroids. So then they go, yeah, but asteroids have nothing. I'm like, yeah, it must have been a heavy bombardment. Like what happened for, I think it was like 4 or 5, or maybe it was more than that. I probably shouldn't say numbers because this is not my area. I'm more a historian.
Somebody's going to be like, hey,
food scientist is going,
all your numbers are way the hell off.
Okay, but legitimately, I don't know how long, but there's a thing called the heavy bombardment period or something like that. And it's when the Earth, for a long time, several billion years or whatever, maybe it's hundreds of billions, I don't know. But this stuff was happening in a sense where it could be hundreds of billions, but because if there's like 4 billion, I think, wait a minute, Damien, come on, think out loud. Wait a minute.
Okay. Yeah, that's all right.
I don't know exactly. How about that? But anyways, there's a thing called the heavy bombardment period. It was a long time of human history or whatever, not human history, Earth history.
Right.
A long period of, you can tell, my expertise is not science.
That's
I'm not understanding it, but the science communication probably is not the easiest thing. Like Aaron Raw is way better. Kicks my ass, hands down, that shit. But
that's
my thing is prehistory. That's what I've tried. I mean, I've never tried to be, but my point is, I'm saying is, so that's how it happened. It's the heavy bombardment that science already knows about.
Right.
Oh, good solved. So there's no question of where it came from. We already know. So, in fact, I was out in Huntington Beach, basically proselytizing atheism because there was Christians like, Banana Man out there, trying to get people to believe in absolute nonsense. And I felt the responsibility to go and check that bullshit. So, but anyways, Ray Comfort is who I'm talking about. And Ray Comfort put me in his video, the Noah's thing, whatever. He
is that right?
Oh, yeah. It's only like about, I don't know, 15 seconds of fame. No. 15 seconds or something, or 20, 30 seconds. I don't know. But because he asked me, he likes to ask like gotcha questions to atheists, like how did water get on the earth? Or, and of course they don't have science. They're like, I don't know. Or, see, you should have been understand it's God, or whatever. And so I said, we used to think it's comets, but now you understand it's asteroids and something like that. And anyways, then he goes to, but my friend goes, was he trying to make you look good? And I'm like, I don't know, but he did. He then goes to a planetary scientist or geologist, or I can't remember now, some scientist, an actual scientist at a college, and asked them the same question, and they basically almost recite what I said, but a lot better, obviously. I just numbers. Know it, and they actually explained it. So, because I'm like, yeah, you want me to explain that? It's going to be not as fluent as probably somebody else could do.
Ray Comfort's specialty is to make atheists look smarter than him.
Right. Yeah. But so he did that. He made me look smarter than him. Actually, him and Eric Coven, to my face, told me I'm smart after experiencing me.
Yeah.
In fact, Ray Comfort said, you're a way smarter guy than I am. And I said, and a wise person would listen to that smart person.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm telling you, the Bible is bullshit.
But he can't continue his grift if he accepts that.
Right. So, yeah. But my point is, let's go back to dignity. But I just wanted you to get the. I'm trying to make this more understandable, because I know a lot of times when I talk about it, people don't listen.
No, that's fair. I'm just having my mouth doesn't like to say the word objective that many times.
No. Well, it wasn't poetry.
So it's like objective. It can involve objective facts and objective methods, and thus can involve objective conclusions about the value of objective facts with the objective methods to conclude objective conclusions of value or in relation to objective facts.
Right, I know that's a mouthful, but you get the point. It's because people are challenging it that I'm trying to explain. This is also, I don't want to be wishy-washy. I'm not I'm an axiologist. Tell like it is, man. I'll break it down for you. Yeah. Because that, and you may not always agree with everything I justify, but believe me, I have a justification.
Right. To Damien, morality is a pro-social behavioral response. Therefore, it is involving the moralizer. Saying that somehow means there is no objective is a nonsense skepticism confusion. As with such a thinking, one cannot objectively even say there is anything objective, as one is always limited to their mind perceiving what it believes is an outside world. Saying we should think beyond ourselves is hard, but not at all impossible. Damien holds that morality is a human-invented judgment, but so is reason, and that does not mean we cannot tell the difference from unreason.
Right?
Yep.
Wouldn't you agree? I mean, who doesn't think? Because they got all the atheists. Oh, there's reason. Dude, if you can agree that we can define what reason is, how in the hell do you somehow have this logical fallacy that we cannot get to other things? Yeah. Like I said, it's this fallacy of a closed system we don't live in. So just like Cory's learning from me. How does that magically happen? It must be Jesus.
Yeah, that's right.
Not.
Where are we? Babies and morality. They believe babies are, in fact, born with an innate sense of morality, and while parents and society can develop a belief system in babies, they don't create one. A team of researchers at Yale University's Infant Cognition Center, known as the Baby Lab, showed us just how they came to that conclusion. Yeah, I think I remember reading something about that years ago, too. Yeah. Like, with the way they showed children injustice, basically, and and they understood it, and it made them upset.
Yeah, because like I said, that's why I tell you all the time, I don't even get in big arguments about this bullshit, because I'm like, you're wrong.
Yeah,
fucking prove I'm wrong, motherfucker, because you're wrong. So I don't mean motherfucker, so I shouldn't say that.
You do mean motherfucker. That's what you... Don't apologize.
No, but like I told you, I honestly want to work on not saying things, and I'm from the ghetto, and I too often do not force myself to grow past that, and I need to. So,
that's fair. No, that's fair.
For me personally, I need to try not. Well, because like I told you is people are like listening to me, so I don't want to say things in a flippant way. I want to try to be as valuable, transferring as possible. But also I'm human, so fucking I'll make it say so.
And I know that, like, for some people, the like saying motherfucker is nothing. Like, it's just part of language. For some people, saying motherfucker like shuts them off. Like, they'll back away right away. So here I am, motherfucker.
But and also asking a couple guys how they feel about, use motherfucker. It might not be the same as if it was all women I was asking.
Right, exactly.
Or like I said, who knows? Well, children that are being abused, maybe they don't want it. That sounds like an aggressive thing. I'm just saying, I want to try to be better, Cory, and I don't want to give myself excuses. That's what I'm saying.
That is fair.
In general, I think it's, as I said about tough love. In general, I want to honestly look at myself. I feel like you're not a real intellectual if you don't challenge yourself. If one does not challenge themselves as hard as they would challenge others, then to me, they're not really a good thinker. A good thinker should be challenging themselves. I challenge my own behaviors, even if you say it's okay. I'm like, yeah, but it's not. So I'm going to challenge myself anyways. Even if you give me even if the world said, oh, it's totally okay, I go,
but is it?
I still need to work on it for me. I don't feel it's okay.
Yep. And that's fully fair and valid.
Right. But it gives you a little more understanding about my morality and how I think and why I do what I do. I think. But
okay, utilizing dignity. So we've got dignity enrichment. 1, acceptance of thinking or behavior. 2, showing understanding. And 3, offer support for who and what they are.
Right. That's a dignity enrichment. And that could be with things like when I said you did a good job, or it's like even the fact that you listen to me and then you commiserate with me or shake your head like you just did.
Right.
You are doing, those are dignity enrichments. When you said right, that you just did it again. There's another dignity, and there's another one. You're laughing with me, showing that you're having a good time and feeling, or you're uncomfortable. But the goal is that you're feeling safe. You're feeling safe enough to laugh and not be scared. Right. So my point is, I'm saying is we're I'm just trying to get people to grasp. It's the constant. It just never. And that's why I can just come in any time and go boom, 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 because I know what I'm doing. It's never not happening. Boom, 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 boom. If I would, but this also, like I told you, for me, I know that could be very violating each other's dignity. So I need to be careful. So I do not go around doing dignity attacks constantly. I really try not to, because I know it's not good. Even if it's to bad people, should I go around with a machine gun just fucking shooting random people?
Just because you don't like them?
Yeah, you get my point. So that doesn't sound very anarchist to me.
No, that's right. Our next thing is dignity attacks. And it's 1, critical challenge of thinking or behavior. 2, expose confusions or irrationalism. And 3, offer rebuttal or rebuke of who and what they are.
Right. And so I don't do it character style. It's not like I do it to hurt Cory, but like, say if you said, well, I think the best position is not to actually have a morality. That anybody that has it, tries to fix a morality, is already being a fascist. And I go, so what do you feel about yourself? Does saying that make you a good person? And please justify what you mean by a good person. Is that important? And how would we know the difference?
Yeah.
In other words, I just did a dignity attack in the fact that I challenged and I basically said, you're wrong. Mm-hmm. And it's so wrong that I need to hear what it is so I can figure out if it has any part that's right, in a sense. And when you feel like challenged and threatened, it's more than likely someone's doing a dignity attack to you. But people do it naturally because it fucking works.
Right.
We learned this shit as kids, that a lot of people do. I mean, and I heard a lot of people too, they'll say, oh, I'm just joking. They do dignity attacks and I'm just joking.
Oh, yeah.
Which is actually a secondary dignity attack. See, it's a dignity attack and then a sneaky dignity attack to say you have no right to challenge it, which is a secondary dignity attack, because they've not only hurt you, they've then controlled your mind and not allow you to hold them accountable for the hurt that they just did.
Right.
It's great. Dignity attacks. Yeah. But that's, if you understand at the level I do, and you could do it to people intentionally and hurt them, to go and hurt them, to me, is no different than me walking around with a gun and fucking blowing people in the head, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking wrong. That's why people say, why don't you, sorry, I don't mean to say fucking all the time, but it's why I feel like I don't want to go do debates and stuff, because if I was going to be really myself and win, well, then I would do tons of dignity attacks and dignity enrichments, and I'd be working them like a racing horse,
right,
or whatever, you know, all over that, just running them where I want, down the track, faster, whatever. But that sounds a lot more like fascism to me than it does anarchism.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't support that. So for me, I'm just saying it doesn't. What is the goal now? So I do like communication. Like, say if someone who thought different than me wants to sit down and just have honest talk, then I'm fine with that. That's not a debate.
Right. Yeah. I don't do debates. Like I did a couple years ago, and I realized that this was not the way that I thought I could. Not because I feel like I would hurt people or because I would do dignity attacks, but just because I don't find them terribly useful in terms of educating people.
Right. Well, and someone could say you can learn different things and whatever. Maybe that's true for you. I'm just saying, to me, for my skills, I don't think it, because to really use my skills would be to use them. And then that would be, to me, too abusive. It would. And I don't want to teach people to go do that to people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To go destroy people with your mind. That does not, no. So it is. I don't see it as a win-win. It would be a lose-lose to me. We lose the fact that I'm now only about myself winning, which I don't find very productive. And then it would also be teaching people how to really hurt other people to win, in which I also don't support. So, I mean, like, no and devil no. Yeah. I'd rather do the opposite. I really would rather only, if I could, teach dignity enrichments, how to make people feel whole and heard and understood and appreciated, valued and honored and safe and comfortable. Yeah. That's what I would like. So I like dignity enrichments, but I also have to teach other, because it's a good way to manipulate people to do what you want, which is if your goal is honest and caring, like mine generally is, to make them not be like Damien, but to make them open their mind and start thinking.
Right.
And then as soon as they do, like I said, then I back off. I don't do that no more. And I think I even said it in that thing, keep reading. But I think it says I don't use it like that, but I don't.
Where are we? Attacking the person. Damien strives to attack thinking and not people. But Damien sometimes may use dignity attacks or character attacks about behavior or thinking that people are doing. I only say things they can quickly fix or change. Then Damien will pressure them to change it. Damien's point in doing this is to help mirror the bad or errored thinking or behavior so they can change if they wish. Damien tries never to hurt anyone, as Damien sees it as not productive and potentially abusive. However, if I only spend my time pointing fingers, have I not wasted times? I could have also offered helping hands. Thus, even though sometimes things need to be harshly pointed out, so there is a need to be involved in the benefit of helping where we can. May my drive to help not be somehow silenced just because there is a need to fight all that is wrong. I want to thank everyone throughout my life that have treated me with compassion and kindness. From something as simple as a smile or comforting word to things that create impacts so big they were all life-altering. You have written with the pen of love across my heart, and you have helped me be a person who strives to also show and treat others with compassion as well as kindness. I do not respect faith, I respect people. I value the sanctity of rights of every person to self-define their beliefs and do not attack people because of what they believe. I say attack thinking, not people. We who truly value ourselves and others can and do make a better world. May we together fill the world with this shining example of humanity.
Right
Truth navigation techniques for discussions or debates.
By the way, that's my style. If someone asks, like, what do? I do truth navigation. I in other words, that too is that I'm willing to be navigated to truth. If you have the truth, I am more than open to receive it.
Right.
And I'm also trying to others not to think like me, but to navigate truth so that they see it. Not that I make them see it, that I put them in the position where now they're on the mountain, can look down, and they can see it for themselves.
Okay, Damien does truth navigation, both inquiry questions as well as strategic facts in a tag team of debate and motivational teaching. It is just as important to challenge one's own behavior as to challenge the behavior of others. Damien doesn't generally assume everyone agrees to the facts, and that it is often upon me to help them navigate the truth. How can we silently watch as yet another generation is indoctrinated with religious faith, fear, and foolishness? Religion and its god myths are like a spiritually transmitted disease of the mind. This infection, even once cured, holds mental disruption which can linger on for a lifetime. What proof is faith of anything religion claims by faith, as many people have different faith, even in the same religion? When you start thinking about your out atheism, anti-theism, or anti-religionism is not vitally needed, just remember all the millions of children being indoctrinated and needing our help badly. Ones who desperately need our help with the truth. 3 things are common in all religions: pseudoscience, pseudo-history, and pseudo-morality. And Damien's biggest thing of all is the widespread forced indoctrination of children, violating their free choice of what to not believe or believe. Damien hates forced hereditary religion. Religion and its god myths are like spiritually transmitted disease of the mind. This infection, even once cured, holds disruption that can linger for a lifetime. Damien is not the thing abuse made. Damien is a shooting star, blazing bright, shining far past his past. Far past his past. If you're a religious believer, may I remind you that faith in the acquisition of knowledge is not a valid method worth believing in, because what proof is faith? If anything, religion claims by faith, as many people have different faith even in the same religion. Do you want what is true, or want what you believe without concern for what may actually be true?
Which that's what a lot of people want.
Yeah.
That last one. Right. They don't care if it's true. It's true to me.
Yeah. That's the whole it's true for you thing, right? Like that's, and
some stuff that can be a valid statement, but most stuff, it's not a valid statement.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's very specific things that seem that's okay. Sure.
Yeah. Small, very small amount.
Yeah, that's right. Personal
stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
You get it.
Yeah. But facts about the world? No, facts about the world are facts.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. This is a message I actually need to hold on to is don't let anger become an unethical behavior.
Oh, me too.
Damien wants to make a difference in the world and try to bring hope and new thinking to others where Damien can. Damien also wishes to champion kindness as often as Damien champions challenge in thinking and hopes for wisdom as much as reason or doubt. Damien sees it is easier to break others down than help them see a way back up. More than just Damien's disbelief in religion and gods or all woo-woo, Damien hopes people get how much he cares about humanity and all the different people who are part of it. We rise by helping each other. May I be thoughtful and care, as well as seek knowledge and share. May we all be good humans to ourselves and to others. Damien doesn't consider the existence of gods to be an open question. It is in the highly unlikely event that proof of the existence of a god were to turn up, I would reevaluate my worldview. Are people agnostic about the tooth fairy? Paul Bunyan? The Easter Bunny? No. I don't have to respect ideas. People get confused. Ideas are not alive, nor do they have beingness. Ideas don't have rights, nor the right to even exist. Only people have such a right. Ideas don't have dignity, nor can they feel violation. Only people if you attack them personally. Ideas don't deserve any special anything. They have no feelings and cannot be shamed. They are open to the most brutal, merciless attack and challenge without any protection and deserve none. Nor will Damien give them any if they are found wanting in evidence or reason. Damien will never respect ideas if they are devoid of merit. Damien will only respect people. When Damien was young, it was all about him. He wanted to be liked. Then Damien got older, and it was even more about him. He wanted power. Now Damien is beyond a toxic ego, and it is not just about him. Damien wants to make a difference. Sexism is that evil weed that can sadly grow even in the well-tended garden of the individual with an otherwise developed mind, which is why it particularly needs to be attacked and exposed, and is why Damien supports feminism. Having privilege in race, gender, sexuality, ability, class, nationality, etc., does not mean one did not have it hard in life. It is just not hard due to race, gender, sexuality, ability, class, nationality, etc. in that privilege or that area. Yeah. Damien,
that makes sense, right?
What's that?
Does that make sense, huh?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing that we keep having to point out over and over again.
Well, because they're not axiological thinkers. Unfortunately, we're always going to have to point that out. Where if you're an axiological thinker, it'll only make intuitive sense. You're like, oh yeah, duh. Yeah, oh yeah, Oh, you mean dignity beings are involved? Oh, of course you need ethics and what? Of course they have rights. What?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's the idea that I had a hard life, therefore I have no privilege.
I had a hard life, and I still had shitloads of privilege.
Yeah, ditto. Like I didn't have it as hard as others in some areas, and I didn't have it as easy as others in other areas. Like that's the thing.
Well, but this goes back to another thing, though. Every child is not equal, okay, in the sense of experience, not like as in value. I mean, experience. That's what I was talking about. Sorry. There's children that are empaths, that are highly sensitive. So the very littlest slight could be devastating, where some other could be a psychopath, sociopath, and the very big slight could almost be nothing.
Yeah, that's right.
So you can't. So I'm going to say my point about you said what's bad. Well, bad isn't just the experience externally, but what is the processing unit, like Windows, whatever. If you got a Windows 98 and someone else has got Windows 10 or whatever it is. Which sounds weird because what?
Will people watching this know the difference?
Better than 98.
Surely people watching this will know the difference, right?
No, I know, but my point is, I'm saying the fact that if you have these different systems, they do not process the stuff the same. That's what I'm trying to make a point.
That's right.
And so we need to understand everyone's all these different operating systems. I post the meme about it almost daily. That all these different types of minds, there's the same value. In fact, we should love diversity. It's crazy. Aesthetically, we like diversity. Who the hell's like white on white on white on white, or black on black on, or whatever, red on red on red? I mean, could you imagine everything that way? I mean, everything. Of course, no one like that. Seriously.
No. It's funny because the people who want a white ethno-state, the people who are trying to enforce Christianity on everybody, like those people, even those people, when they go into their online communities where they don't have any conflict and they can't argue with liberals and leftists, they lose their mind. They can't handle it. It's boring. And so that's why they come back to Twitter and Facebook and argue with leftists and liberals. Like they have to have diversity.
Well, that goes back to another point. I don't think that when a rightist argues with a leftist, they actually are trying to change their thinking.
No.
They just want to be abusive generally. That's just my experience.
That's generally
a lot of times when a leftist, the act is opposite generally, I feel. Not everybody, but
I get in modes where
I'm saying the more general theme, let's put it that way, is that when a leftist generally is talking to someone, even if they're irritated, probably their goal is still like dignity. It's the caring. It's saying, well, I'm trying to help you understand. They may be mad and whatever. Like, why don't you understand? But it's not because a leftist wants to abuse people is my point.
Right.
That's not the point. Like the brutality for the right, to me, it seems kind of the point.
It does seem that way. Yep. Yep, for sure. Like I say, I have my moments.
Well, like I said, and I know, and I'm not saying I don't have juice. The wrong person comes to me at the wrong time. I'm not saying I'm perfect either. Like I said, that's why I don't want to do no more direct activism. I'm not in a healthy place.
So, Damien is a big fan of the truth. Damien wants a war of ideas where the loser is ignorance or hate, and the victor is kindness and a rational mind. Not another religious war with people where the loser is always humanity, no matter the victor. What Damien hopes for is, with his discussions or expressed ideas, is not so much to strive to change people. What Damien hopes for with his discussions or expressed ideas is not so much to strive to change people's minds, but instead Damien's wish to inspire your mind to reason and to thrive for the search for valid and reliable evidence, as well as a high standard in your ethics of belief. This ethics of belief, Damien hopes everyone adopts, is something like this: reasoned belief acquisitions, good belief maintenance, and honest belief relinquishment. Sadly, the professed thing of hope, religion, can be, and too often is, an excuse to do horrible things, which is clear throughout history. Damien's eclectic set of tools for my style, Damien calls truth navigation, techniques for discussions or debates, which involves REMS, reason or rationalism, evidence or empiricism, and methodological truth-seeking, skepticism, or methodic doubt. That's the basic or general approach. Then there's the hammer of truth, ontology, epistemology, and axiology, and the methodological use of philosophy. And then dialectical rhetoric is equal to truth persuasion, the use of facts and reasoning as motivational teaching. And then utilizing dignity, strategic dignity attacks or dignity enrichments, only used if confusion happens or resistance is present.
Right. In other words, I don't use that as my main tool. I don't go around, even though it's very effective. It's super effective, actually. It would be more easier. Not more easier. It would be way easier or whatever. I'm trying to think grammatically correct. But it's not the right way. So to me, they're only tools when things go really bad. Like you say, I don't give a fuck what you think. I would say, okay, tell me. See, I use the dignity enrichment because now you feel when I say, go ahead and explain it. No, I'm not trying to attack you. You heard me do this with the other guy, right? Yeah. Did he not calm down?
Yeah.
Calm down. Did I think he'd calm down? Of course I knew he'd calm down. I know what I'm doing. It's everybody else that, for some reason, thinks I don't know what I'm doing.
Right. Asking the right questions at the right time with the right info can also change minds. You can't just use facts all on their own. Denial likes consistency. The pattern of thinking cannot vary from a fixed standard of thinking, or the risk of truth could slip in. Helping people alter skewed thinking is indeed a large task, but most definitely a worthy endeavor. Some of Damien's ideas are because he is educated both some in college with a BA in psychology and addiction treatment, sociology, and a little teaching in criminology. And also as an autodidact, Damien has become somewhat educated in philosophy, science, archaeology, anthropology, and prehistory. But this is not the only reason for all of Damien's ideas. It is also because Damien is a deep thinker, just striving for truth. Moreover, Damien is a seeker of truth and a lover of that which is true. The end.
Yep. So, and after that, tell me first, when I said I wanted to do this video, is this like what you thought? And if not, explain, or if there's something you learned or you valuable, explain. So that people can hear it, then we can wrap it up.
I think partly this is what I was expecting. I thought we might spend more time talking about what, like, maybe it's not necessary, like, but what specifically dignity enrichments and dignity attacks are.
They would be, like I already showed you, it's so simple and intuitive.
It's almost
it's like I said, it could
did we lose?
No, I'm doing in the sense it could be like a dignity attack or something to someone when they're talking and you just kind of stop.
Yeah, it certainly froze me in my tracks.
But so my point is it worked, right? It works every time.
Exactly.
All I was trying to say is first off, I'm not going to. I told you before, I'm not going to explain everything because I could tell you too many things that bad people could then go use in a very bad way. I'm not going to do. So you're correct. I will never teach you everything I know about how to do this stuff because it's dangerous to me.
Fair. No,
but I am saying that it is very involved. And once you become more aware of your own dignity and their own self and the dignity of others, it'll become obvious, dude. When people are doing it to you, it'll be very obvious.
Yeah.
And
I think even just with this discussion now, I think that I can recognize times in the past that people have done that, like done a dignity attack, but maybe they didn't realize it at the time.
Oh,
and
not everyone does. And it is another thing too. Not everyone that does it really realizes they're being toxic. And that is, we're in a toxic system where toxic is the norm.
Right.
So I don't saying that everyone should be immediately, because first off, if you're really understanding dignity, you shouldn't challenge someone in a way that would violate their dignity. So why would you do that? When I do like dignity attacks, it's more like I'm pressuring your dignity. I'm not actually destroying it. I'm just pressuring your dignity, and it makes you react. So you're like, I can do whatever I want. Like,
well, I guess it's because like you say in this, like we have in the last bit here, we talk about trying to find the truth and trying to show people the best ways to get to the truth, and obviously destroying their ego or destroying their dignity isn't the way to get them to the truth, right?
Well, my point was, even if you did do it that way and it was effective, it's not an honorable way to do it.
Right.
And it's an unnecessary, because I can teach how to do it when you don't do that. So why would you do that? And then you're just a bad person? You just get off on the power,
right?
Or something in the head that you want to use good things in a bad way. I mean,
yeah. So
to me, like I said, to the dignity, it would be easiest really to show you how to do it. But I know, like I told you before, when we first were going to talk, we're not going to do it. Maybe one of these times we'll try to do a video on just that, or maybe I'll get you something to read and then explain it or something. Because the dignity attacks and dignity enrichments, they're almost intuitive, but then they're almost not intuitive because there's almost like subliminal.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, like you just did. Who taught you that? And that right there. And that right there.
Just the actual listening.
That's called active listening. No, it's not just regular listening. It's active listening. It's listening and then immediately responding. So it's not just listening. But anyways, my point I'm saying is to fully explain what I'm saying is way more complicated, and the video needs to end or soon. So all of the stuff that I say is super complicated and yet intuitive. So it's both normative and theoretical. It's like me,
which we mentioned earlier.
But the truth is often not easy. This is why I think it's true. I had someone tell me before, Damien, it's too hard. I go, is that what you tell to Neil deGrasse Tyson when he explains stuff? I hear you're like, oh, you're so great. How come when I explain stuff in a hard way that's true, you're like, oh, that's just too complicated. Whoa.
Hard things are hard.
Yeah, because our goal as atheists is to be dumb, I guess, or not very informed, or not think clearly or think deeply. I mean, really? That's what we want to champion? Right. Seriously? I don't want to have any beliefs that are complicated.
Yeah.
Well, then maybe welcome yourself to theism.
Yeah. I was joking with some guys on one of my other shows. Like, they're talking about breaking down complex ideas and making them simple for people. And I said, well, my tendency is to take simple ideas and make them complex.
Often that's more accurate. But they're both are needed, though. That's what same thing I'm trying to do. I am trying to give you my high level ability down to where anybody with no ability could still maybe do it or understand it or benefit from this understanding.
Yeah.
So yes, that's why I said I'm going to try to explain it as many ways as possible, because I know that's the only way you're going to grasp how important it is. Because you're thinking like, oh, that's nice if it's convenient. I'm like, no, that's everything.
Right. Yeah.
When you say the word nice, what do you mean? If not someone that cares about others' dignity. I mean, show me someone who's nice and somehow dignity is never related. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Then they're not nice.
Exactly.
Duh. Or then you don't even understand the word. Or maybe that word's lost any meaning, I guess.
Yeah, like that's the thing. I don't know if people understand the depth of some of these ideas. Like, everybody knows what dignity is, but they haven't given it any thought, right?
Right, and that's also why they're not good thinkers when it comes to that kind of level of approaching morality in that way. That's why they say dumb things like, oh, there's nothing objective. And I'm like, but that statement's objective, right? You do believe that, right? 100%? Is that factual?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Yeah. The thing that I really like that we struck on today, like, besides all the obvious like discussion about human dignity and how that ties into rights, was when you talk about is ought gap only applying in a closed system.
I always laugh. I'm like, the skeptics are like, oh, this is the proof. This is nothing gets outside of this. I'm like, that's the funniest shit I've heard. I'm a rationalist and an axiologist. What you just said is a fucking fallacy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because here's the fact. What are you talking about? You mean humans who interact with other people and other people's minds? Oh, and that other people have different feelings than yours that could be violated or whatever. And yet, how about this? How is it that animals are able to do this? There's a book called Wild Justice or something about how animals. And there's another one. I don't know her name, but there's another book that I looked at that was about animals, and it was talking about all these different animals that had morality and expressed it and stuff that people don't think about. And I was thinking, once again, I already know this, but then again, I'm a student of the world. Like I told you, I'm willing to be a student of the world. And I look and I go, how is it that fish in school move almost intuitively in a group?
Yeah.
How is it they do that? Why is it they seem to help each other? They're fish, right? Things that people don't even. How about the octopus? There was a movie called like My Friend the Octopus or My Teacher the Octopus or something. I was thinking, see, now there's some of the things like Damien. Teachers do not have to be people that say things to you. Yeah.
If I've got a book review coming out right away here with Justin Clark, and
which I would like to have on the show sometime.
Justin. Yeah, he's we're booked for a couple Saturdays from now. So
right on.
Yeah.
I look forward to it.
We talked about mutual aid by as a factor of evolution by Peter Kropotkin. And that's a lot of that stuff is like aid for your fellow species, for your fellow dignity beings is part of evolution. Like it's how beings survived, right? Like,
well, it's how most beings, not every single being, but yes, most beings have this understanding. It's not like even most beings have this understanding. Just like I said, that they used to think that because last time that we share a connection with I guess mammals, or maybe I'm not sure, but it's us eventually, from the octopus was a slug or something. And I always laugh when they say that, and they said, "No, how is it that the octopus was able to evolve to a higher cognition and emotions and stuff?" And I think, who the fuck ever decided the slug didn't have it?
Well, that's true. That's exactly right.
It makes me irritated every time I hear it because they laugh like, of course a slug wouldn't have it. Because we know without knowing, which we love to say, don't ever do. But yet here we are doing it and we're making fun of it. Like, we're right and how glorious. And I'm thinking, it's fucking sickening. You just made a complete judgment. And you either don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Or you're assuming in something that you probably should do more study to find out. Because here's the thing. I think it's 233 million years ago. I think it's a crayfish or something. It got a little pouch in the body of the female so that the eggs or the little beings or whatever can be up inside her and be more protected. So the body, in a sense, started to evolve for care.
Right.
Way before we had a mind. But I always go, what part of the care did you reason? Because generally, people that are really good at caring are super empathetic.
Yeah.
Which is not really what people consider like logic and reason. It's like the opposite or the other side of that.
Right.
So I think, so why do they so it's emotions in a sense. So why would you think that logic had to happen before morality when it's actually emotions that gives the rise to this thought, not the other way around?
Yeah.
So I'm always thinking, I think everything that came out of the water had it. Probably.
Yep. Yep.
So when they go, oh, bugs have it, I'm like, are they out of the water? Yeah. Okay, good. All right.
So that fits.
You proved me right now? Oh, okay.
Sounds good.
Check one. Roger.
Yeah.
But so the fact that for me, but you see what I'm saying though, when they say that about the worm, how do you know the worms don't? Seriously.
Well, yeah,
I assume the opposite, that they probably do.
Oh yeah, I would assume now. Like, it reminds me of a conversation I had years ago with somebody, and I was on the wrong side of this conversation. Like, he was arguing that deer felt emotions, and that like they were sentient creatures with emotions, and I was arguing against that. But all he really did was he showed me like a video, I think it was, or a case of a deer mother feeling sad and crying when her offspring was killed. And I was like, well, I guess I have to reevaluate the way I view this, because that's clear, like, that these are sentient, like, she's obviously feeling deep emotion. Like, it's not just...
It's the same as us. That's why, like, deep emotion, like, what, the animals don't have emotional life? Like, oh my... To me, when people say things, I just go, oh my God.
Yeah.
We have more problems than I was hoping for. Like, I knew it was bad, but every time people talk, I go, oh man, it's so much. I forget how much they don't get.
It's not, maybe it's not Twitter's fault that I see the worst, dumbest things that exist.
It's the bad take central.
But it really is, isn't it? Like, it's like, people
it's
just
certainly
go
worse.
on there and
Let me
say
tell you
anything.
what, it's certainly worse than LinkedIn. LinkedIn was the best. Actually, of all the places that kicked off, I really feel bad I kicked off LinkedIn.
Oh, Jesus.
Because I had like 15,000 people were following me, and everyone was loving me, besides the fact that I had to tag tickets. But hey, you know, I still like that. That's a good thing. How is that a bad thing? That's
Wow.
good social justice.
Yeah, that's right.
Making the bigots feel wrong. Woo! How terrible of me. I made the bigots feel guilty. Damn. I'm horrid. That's why this one guy said, you're abusive. I'm like, yeah, I make bigots feel bad.
I don't understand. I just don't understand.
I don't know how I got kicked off. I'm like, how I should be like thanking an award the bigot abuser. Oh wow, terrible me.
Yeah.
I don't even do it by calling them names. I just make them feel bad because I attack their dignity, and they know they're pieces of shit. Done. They're not good people, and I show them that, and that mirror is very hurtful to them. Oh.
But how does that get you kicked off of anything? Like,
because they complain, because they go complain and go, I'm a Christian, or I'm this person, or I'm, blah, blah, and nobody should do this. This is a work site. And that's what they say. Oh, it's a work site, and he's doing unprofessional behavior, like my wife says. Yeah. Sometimes a little antisocial behavior in the cause of goodness.
I guess.
I guarantee that bigot won't be so uppity about attacking people. because he said, and just think of this, I made him feel bad, right? Super bad. And he actually started with, to me, fucking gay and faggots, they all should be just taken and beaten. LBGT community, the whole thing of them. And I go, oh, really? And who's going to beat them? You? And he goes, I'll do what I have to do to protect my child. And I go, do you think that makes you a good person? Do good people go and threaten to harm people that are not harming people? But anyways, I'm going to go with those. But
Yeah.
But it's that kind of, but see, the whole time I'm ready for him to change. See, that's what I'm saying about going at it with the attitude of a servant leader. I am not there to put him down. I'm not there to build me up. I'm not there to destroy this person. I'm there to help them remember their fucking humanity. Dude, this shit matters.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite things to say to bigots in general and then leave it hanging is, are you a good person? That's all I say. And let me tell you something too. Like all those bullies, they'll only fight you like 3 times. 1, 2, 3. I said, remember, denial likes consistency. So if you just keep doing it, they don't. Then they just go, oh. They'll be like, right. Okay, Damien. You know, I want to apologize. I'm like, yeah, I know. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I feel bad, huh? Like that one guy, Damien, you know, it's not right. You really, made it personal to hurt me. I'm thinking, you attacked me for being intersex? And
that's
said
not
I'm
personal.
and said I'm not genderqueer and I'm wrong. You think that was not personal?
Yeah. Somehow that's not personal.
But once again, it reminds me of the right in general. As long as it doesn't happen to them, who cares?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck everyone else.
I guess so, hey?
But that's not the right way to live. And that's the whole point of my thing. It's actually not really to attack the right in that position that I want to just scumbags. But what benefit is that? Better would be to simply try to bring light to the problem and say, look, why would you want to be this uncredible as a human being?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you value honor so little that you would actually violate the dignity of others? Man, I'm ashamed for you. Those dignity taxes. You asked what they are. There's one right there.
There we go. Yeah.
There you go.
Fair.
But anyways, like I said, my goal is actually is to make them think. It's not to win. It's not to. So anyone who's using it, my stuff, and trying to hurt people, or I can win because of this, you're not doing my style.
Right.
You're abusing my style. Because that's not what I want you to do. I want you to care and get other people to care. Because like I said, we all know it's right. You already know this. It's all children know this. So I know you know this. It's intuitive. But anyway, so I appreciate your time, Cory. This has been a great video. And
yeah, for sure.
I think that people will, at least if nothing else, have a little better understanding when I talk about dignity and stuff than they do now. And
they really can't say it's not there. It's out here.
I tried.
Yeah.
No one can say I didn't put out effort to explain stuff.
That's right.
People may still not understand it, but at least I've tried to explain it as best I can.
No, exactly.
But I appreciate it because this matters a lot to me. Because it's something I think that people, because all of my stuff is kind of built on this. If you don't understand this, then you're not understanding why I do what I do. It may seem like it's confusing, but once you grasp it, you're like, oh shit, all of it's connected. Oh damn. Mm-hmm. There isn't a difference. But
no, it's it's one of these things that I think is useful and that not enough people will actually have a handle on, like even just the value thing and dignity, like talking to people who I basically agree with on like their politics,
right?
But then they'll say things like that morality is just an imposition of rules on them, or they'll think that they're looking at it from a purely scientific perspective with no bias and no value judgment at all. And it's just like, well, why are you fighting for socialism actually then? Like what?
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
you're fighting for it because you believe it's the best system for humans.
But when you make the judgment of what is best,
Exactly.
that is a axiological conclusion you've reached.
So you've gotten there.
Yeah. I'm just wondering how.
Yeah.
Why?
You didn't do it through science. I guarantee you didn't do it through science.
Well, yeah, because the whole point is that everything I said about dignity, science doesn't disagree with that.
No,
So-
no, that's right.
And in fact, they actually use it in bioscience to try to say why we need to care more and not care less.
Exactly. No, that's right.
So no, it's what I'm saying is not just
It's
little
compatible.
values. Yeah, directly scientific and socialism and anarchism. Like I said, how is it not anarchism that we should be this way? That's almost what anarchism is saying we should do. I'm just giving it a name of the term to base it on.
Right. Yeah.
I haven't changed anarchism. I'm saying, anarchism is right. Here's why.
Here's why. Yeah, exactly.
Here's why. So I really think it had a great time. I always enjoy talking to you. And next time we'll talk about, like I said, relationship anarchism.
Cool.
And we'll get into that and stuff so people can learn. And
Awesome.
right on. Look forward to it. Oh, go ahead and say about your stuff so people can know where to find you and stuff.
Oh yeah, I guess at Skeptical Lefty on Twitter. My YouTube channel and podcast is called The Mind of a Skeptical Leftist, and I do interviews and I talk books with Justin Clark, and it's a lot of fun.
Right on. Everyone go check them out. All right, bye.
Hello, and welcome to my channel. I am Damien Marie AtHope. In the simplest terms, I am an atheist-humanist philosopher and prehistorical writer-researcher at DamienMarieAtHope.com. I am specifically an axiological atheist. An axiological atheism can be thought to involve ethical and value theory reasoned and moral argument driven apatheism, agnosticism, atheism, antitheism, antireligionism, secularism, and humanism. Axiological atheists can be understood as a value theory or a value science atheist. As an axiological atheism's ethically reasoned and constructive pro-humanity. I am an axiological thinker, value theorist. The science of goodness, worthiness, usefulness, valuableness, virtue, reliableness, accuracy, validity, morality, integrity, beneficialness, etc., etc. We axiologists have a value consciousness. And in general, we see the architecture of humanistic humanitarianism value in people that we see as dignity beings. Places and things are not. Axiology is a value theory. In its broadest sense, it involves areas of philosophy that are deemed to encompass some evaluative or evaluation aspect. Therefore, it crosses almost all domains in some way or another. Now for a more detailed terms as to what I am. I am an axiological atheist, an anti-theist, an anti-religionist, secularist, humanist, rationalist, writer, artist, poet, philosopher, advocate, activist with schooling in psychology, sociology, as well as I am an autodidact, self-taught in science, archaeology, anthropology, and philosophy. I promote science and am against pseudoscience, pseudo-history, pseudo-morality, things that are found in religion. I support realism, axiology, of course, liberty, justice, ethics. I am also an anarchist socialist. I support anarchism and socialism, progressivism, liberalism, philosophy, psychology, archaeology, and anthropology, advocating for sexual, gender, child, secular, LGBTQIA+, race, class rights, and equality. So if you can guess from all that, I support or challenge that I have an eclectic variety of videos on a variety of topics. Please take time to check them out, as well as if you enjoy them, please give them a like. And don't forget to subscribe, as new things are on their way all the time for my channel.